Well. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is episode 4 of Not Great's podcast. This is our pre-marathon one, pre-marathon test one. I don't know. It's all pre-marathon, I guess. Network test is coming out in a week and a half, 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, a week and a half. It's closer every day. And once again, I have with me Mr. Justin here to talk about all the things we're excited about today and talk about some of the things that we've seen in the last couple reveals that we've got thoughts and opinions on that we have been able to share before. So little not breaking TOS stuff, no NDA breaking here. But Justin, if you want to say hi to everybody.
Hello. Y'all can see my face. I feel like I've never really been on camera, even though my face isn't on my Twitter. You know what I mean? It's on my everywhere. I don't hide myself, but I'm happy to be back. Right? Really
Yeah,
just been waiting to hop in. Like I've been so excited to just get in and start recording with you. Again, we had so much fun the last time. Plenty of people enjoyed it, so I'm happy for all those of you who commented. It's exciting that people kind of enjoy our takes or had something to say, even if they didn't agree, and that was
just
something that I appreciate.
yeah. People want to hear us talk about something. Somebody please talk about marathon. That's what they want.
More marathon, more marathon.
Where's the marathon news, Bungie? Where are you hiding it? Well, most of it's coming out daily now, so we're so far from where we were when we started doing this. When
Oh yeah.
Schreier leaked it, and we're like, he's got no proof. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. I mean that
He's
that
never
that
seen
was
it.
where that's the where the concept of the of our podcast came from. Is
Yeah,
originally Jason Schreier. He was in an interview and they says, "Well, can you tell us about the state of marathon and how that's doing?" And his
he said,
direct words were,
not
"Not great."
great. I don't remember if he said that was a dev said that to him or it was just someone
I
else, but
somebody in the ether somewhere
yeah.
somehow ended up just mentioning to him that I guess it wasn't great or it wasn't doing well. And you know what? I wouldn't really argue too much with a dev to a degree. But that being said, one thing with Bungie is like I always believe in their creativity and what they can come up with. So I
Yeah.
never I never like to doubt them, to be quite honest. There was its moments where I was like, man, I don't know, uh, you know, how everything's gonna turn out. I don't know. Is this gonna be good? Is this not gonna be good? Trust me, I had my fair share of where I was panicking, but for the most part, I was sitting there in the front lines telling my friends and the people I know that, just believe in Bungie. Come on, what are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, look, there was a time, if the game came out when they did the alpha the first time, I think it would have struggled a good bit, um, and that would have been like April, 6 months before it was supposed to come out, anyways. Um, but the game, we talked about last time, has improved a lot. Um, and we kind of talked that part to death. So this one's not going to be really talking about how the games come further. It's going to be more about looking back on this pre-release time and the time that we've spent together doing this show, basically, and talking about why now we are excited for Marathon to come out in the next couple days.
We can indoctrinate all of you.
Yeah,
Yes.
instead of the next couple years now on a mystery timeline, it's like a week.
Yeah, like one thing that too I gotta say as well that we didn't really get to address. We got new visuals, and not just for the
Hmm.
game. We got new visuals for the podcast. If you're looking
We
all
we
around,
do. I
all
forgot. Look
around.
at is that the not great symbol right
Oh,
there? That's
I see it.
crazy. How did I
I
get
think.
there?
How did it get there? Oh
Whoa,
no,
there's a little bar down here that goes. Whoop,
what?
whoop, whoop, whoop.
My name? Your name?
Oh
Who
my
would
god,
have
my
thought?
name? That's crazy.
Who would have thunk it? You know who we are now? What? Oh my goodness gracious. Well, there's yeah, I mean, there's who slaved away at this? I don't know.
Well, this stuff was all Justin's making, so I'll say it. Justin made
Yeah.
it. I'm bad with graphic design, and you've seen my thumbnails; they're bad. So Justin did this, and I was like,
Let's
"Wait, this
see.
is sick! This is awesome!"
There's I was really excited to just really up the ante because listen, we've been doing this podcast for such a long time right now, and
It's got to be
so
at
I
least a
kind
year
of
now. Oh my god,
yeah.
even more? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And so like rolling out, knowing each other for so long and rolling out this podcast, I really wanted to do it right. And I was like, dude, I've been thinking about like the art for some time, to be quite honest, in terms of like what would it look like for this podcast. And we wanted to see how well the podcast would work in general. And
Hmm.
I remember the first episode, how that came about. And it was just me and Sada. I was just sitting there just talking. I was like, I reached out to you on stream one day and I was like, yo, we should talk.
Yeah,
And we,
it must have been on stream, or maybe we were hanging
yeah,
out with Jake and the others doing something. I don't remember, but yeah.
yeah, it was on stream. I remember you were playing Hunt, and I think you were, or no, you were collecting footage for a video. You were streaming Tarkov. And then I just started
Oh,
just messaging. It was Tarkov and Hunt. You were like between the two, I think. And I
yeah. It
started
must have been early
messaging
on
you.
in the Sabotage
Yeah.
Marathon stuff.
And by that point, it was with my J Note channel, which eventually I'll do something, I promise, with that channel. But I have new art on it. But um, so I was messaging you on there on live, and I was just like, "Yo, let's hit each other up on Discord." And I found you on Discord, and we ended up getting in a call, talking for like maybe 3, close to 4 hours about our ideas about with marathon could be, and like I was like talking about like, dude, like Destiny's like this blueprint, and like how are people so curious as to how marathon's gonna work, and we just were going ham talking
Yeah,
about it, and then we're just like, let's do a podcast episode actually, and how it relates, and and now
yeah.
we're what 4 episodes in over a couple of months,
And we're still waiting
and
for Marathon to have a hub.
yeah,
Still a die on the hill. But
yeah.
Justin, chat wants your plugs, so you gotta
Oh
provide your
yeah, yeah.
YouTube link. At
Oh,
least, at
you
least
can
send it.
yeah, you could see me over at Justin Guerrero voiceover on or Justin Guerrero VO is like also the at tag on YouTube. We could probably drop it in the chat. All right, let me
I might
see
be able
here.
to. I'm trying to.
Let me.
Justin Guerrero.
You could check me out. I do a ton of stuff. I thank you for whoever's looking to check me out on a chat. I do a ton of voice acting on the side, and I've collaborated with Jake. You can check out the Born on Board series that me and him had done. It was all his writing, and I story edited and voice acted every single character. I've worked with Bon. We did some VO together. I did some stuff with Marathon Intel, not VO, but
Yeah,
we kind of collabed with in the alpha,
and that's
and that
Marathon
really went
Intel on
well.
YouTube, not on Twitter, because somebody stole his
Yes.
Twitter handle and
Well,
then was a
now I believe he got
jerk.
that Twitter handle back,
Did he?
so yes, he got
So
it
I
back.
think he's been doing stuff on the Epitome channel instead of
Yep. Yep.
Intel. So
Yeah, because so check him out there too, because like he has amazing art creators content. Like his channel blew up. So if I were you guys, just be sure to check him out. And I got a new voiceover video too. I guess while I'm plugging at this point,
you might
that
as
I'm
well.
working on. It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool. I'm excited to show you guys. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of inspo from some marathon trailers that we've seen. So it's gonna be pretty cool. I
I'm
hope you
so
guys like
excited.
it. But yeah, no, again, we started collaborating, and thus, now we need art. And also, I mean, you guys might have heard the Holy Wars have begun. Jake, right, has a podcast. Okay,
Yeah, we're at war with Jake now these days.
listen, yeah, Holy Wars have begun, so we had to show up and show them we have art too. Okay, no, I love those guys. I love Jake in particular, of course.
I've
I
interacted with Jake a lot more than Scarrow.
yeah, I don't know if Scarrow, I can't say I do. But Jake, of course, it's been amazing, working with him, and obviously it's friendly banter.
Yeah.
I'm happy that they started a podcast, after ours, but
Hey, maybe we can all do one
anyways.
great big podcast one day.
Oh, yes,
We'll call
yes.
it "Escape Will Make Me Not Great," and then we'll do one of those with the
Escape
crossover episode.
Escape will make me not great. There you go.
There you go. That's a whole title and a half.
Yeah, yeah. And it's gonna be like just this huge panel of us like standing there, all talking at once.
Well, if we get Paul Tassi, and it'll be six of us. It'll
Yeah.
be even.
I started this chant with my friend, and I go, "Escape will make me what?" And he goes, "God, escape will make me what?" So I'll just start chanting it.
Escape will make me what? Not
Yeah,
God. Not good.
yeah. Yeah, but I hope you guys love the colors. Colors that we have going on.
Well, I
Uh,
hope you like the colors that Justin has going on, and then the overlay. My room does not have any color apart from whiteboard.
oh yeah, yeah, all
Um,
the greens,
but
the
but Justin's
marathons.
Marton, yeah, Marton green citrine.
Next time I gotta have the red going, red and white, so that way we
It
me and
looks
my
like it
partner.
looks like you've got the overlay on a wall TV. It's the size of your wall, just blasting the room, bathing you in red light.
Yeah, looks like I'm developing a bunch of photos, huh?
Yeah.
It's in the corner. Ah,
Oh man.
every detail.
But let's go ahead. We have some things to talk about that we didn't get to talk about in the last episode because they were NDA. And now they've been shown off, so we're not going to go into detail about a lot of things because we can't talk about details and specifics that aren't stuff that you've been seeing or talked about. But we can at least talk about what Bungie shown off, what Peanut showed off in his stream, Jinji, any other of the creators that got to reveal anything at the time, and then some of the things that we feel about those things. Like because we've experienced a lot of it, we just can't get 100% specifics and tell you examples of when this and that happened. Unfortunately, we can give you the vibes at least. Um,
Yeah,
so starting out, let's talk Outpost a little bit because that was pretty
yeah,
much the centerpiece of Peanuts um, section and promotion stuff after the state of play last week.
yeah,
So Outpost is the third map in the marathon main game. It's not going to be in the network test coming up next week, but it will be in full release. You'll probably have to do some stuff to get there. I don't know. It may be open at the start, it may not be. I don't know what their actual system is going to be for moving map to map because Tarkov you have to level up and do stuff now, but that was new, so I don't no idea. But third map technically in the quest chain, quest line, story going from the outside of the colony to the inside of the colony, I assume, or up to the marathon ship at the end, right? Um, it is more closed in. It's a smaller map, it looked like. Um, and then there are special effects that we can talk about, which is like the main appeal of it, because most people look at a map, they don't really care that the map is bigger or smaller or what the hallways look like. But the special conditions, which are the heat storm and some enemies that were shown off, and some secret puzzles that were played through a couple times by Peanut and the others. Um, so let's start off with the heat storm on Outpost. Um, so Outpost is a map that I don't know if it rains or not. I couldn't tell you. I know the other two do, but it has at least its own weather condition of the heat storm or whatever it's called in game. Not a clue. But if you watch Peanut's stream, he gets damaged by it. It increases his heat as long as he's in it, and it's all outside. It's not in any of the buildings, so you can get out of it. But it pushes you out of the street, out of the open, into buildings, and then also just changes up how you fight because it's an active debuff. Anybody who relies on heat is going to be less useful out in the open when they have a full heat bar standing in the heat rain. Um, but visually, it's a really cool effect because it kind of just looks like it's raining fire. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to say about it specifically.
Yeah, yeah, no. The heat storm. You mentioned that you didn't know if Outpost rains. It does rain. It like pours a lot,
Okay.
and I feel like it's one of the heavier ones too. And there's a lot of structures, right? And so like when you're going through the thing that like Outpost in itself is very much like a heavy PvP map, like extremely. Like there's a lot of like tight areas. Right now, I'll just kind of like relate it to almost like a how would you say? I would relate it to like labs almost of Tarkov, and it probably is not one to one, and cold storage might be that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the intensity of like how quick and how fast you're fighting, um, so when you're in there, there's like a lot of structures, and that rain really does cut into like hearing audio. So like you're praying there's no rain, because like it's just hitting on the outer part of the building, right? It's kind of almost not too much into visibility, but it does have those moments where it skews. I will say like the ambiance like that it like creates is so spectacular. Like I enjoy just like every minute of just walking through that map because again that rain you're and then when the heat like just the heat storm comes in, when
Hmm.
that comes in like you're just freaked out. And what I love about that as well is that it really pushes you guys like to sort of fight in the interiors. So like that's one thing that's like really cool about it. So for example, you're out, you're going about, and we might touch on the puzzles, but there's some things that you do have to find, and I probably don't know what I can say in detail, but there's certain things that are on the exterior of the map that you're forced to get on the exterior of the map. And let's say you're praying for that heat storm not to arrive because then it's like you're stuck on the interiors. Or if you're trying to get out in terms of like there was a
Oh yeah,
point
trying
where
to
I was
extract in the open.
yeah, and a lot of them are. And on top of that, there was a fight that I had gotten into, and we were just getting pushed by a ton of like just enemy AI that were just coming towards us. And we're like, dude, we gotta get out of here. If not, we're dead if we're stuck here. And then heat storm. So so it's like, do we take the damage and then we can't run as well because that heat storm drains your stamina as well as damaging you. So it's
Yeah.
I thought it was really unique mechanic to the map, and it's not annoying either. And that's one thing that I did love is that it wasn't like too frequent to the point where all I got to do is be in the interiors and I can't do anything else. So that I will say I also really enjoyed about it. But yeah, that was kind of I guess my take on the heat storm and the weather. But for me, Outpost in the testing was one of my favorites. That
Y-
was one that, and sorry to interrupt, but like the burnt peanut, he had they gave him like those dev kits that he can get for free,
Yeah.
where you could just keep rolling them. And I mean, I'm pretty sure we could say that we had like we
Yeah,
got
that
that at
was
one
standard
point.
for doing the testing, just to spam
Yeah,
games. Yeah.
yeah, they like gave us like freedom reign with it, and it was just so cool because they gave us this how would you say this developers box essentially, and we got all this cool
We just
stuff.
had a
And
really good opportunity to go in and spam
yeah,
that map and try to, experience it with a bunch of
exactly.
different stuff.
Yeah, and
Um,
it felt intense. It felt intense. I loved it.
yeah, and I now that you said it, you're like, yeah, it always rains there. I was like, oh yeah, isn't like every trailer of Outpost lightning? I'm like, oh yeah, never mind. I'm just dumb. I just
Now, it is also the only map that is like in pitch black. By the way, I did see I have Ivy's chats, Ivy on your Twitch pulled up,
yeah,
and they had left a chat. Can we play this on Xbox XS? Yes, you
yeah.
can. And
So
if
it's
you
it's
have a
gonna be on
handheld,
console. It's gonna be on PC. It's not on Switch as
yeah,
far as I know yet.
yeah. I used it on the because I have a Asus, the ROG,
Yeah,
the
like a Steam Deck.
Xbox one, and I played it on there.
Oh, oh,
And it played
and it
nice. Let's just
played.
say I won a couple of fights on
Okay,
Outpost to be exact.
well, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool actually. I didn't know that it. I wonder if they're gonna make it Steam. I'm gonna check the store while you introduce the next topic. I want to see if it's like
Yeah.
Steam Deck compatible on the
Yeah,
Steam
like
page.
so again, like kind of even talking about how it was running because I was streaming it from my Xbox to the handheld, and it was very snappy. The graphics were super fantastic. This is also going to become, I guess, an ad for the Xbox, the LAX. Um, that was like really it was really cool. It streamed beautifully. I wasn't running into issues or anything like that. I was streaming from my console. And it was just a lot of fun because I told my buddy, I was like, I'm gonna try and see if this works on my handheld. And I threw it on there, and that thing was just, it looked gorgeous, dude. It still felt a little awkward, right? Because you're kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's not, still
Yeah.
feels a little different from a controller, but it was a blast. It was a blast. But
Um,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
did pull up the Steam page. It does not say yet. It's unknown. But it's got controller support. Obviously, you're gonna be able to play a controller on PC and on console. Um, they do have family sharing as an option if you're playing on Steam. And there's something else. Um, I someone was mentioning this I think the other day, or maybe it was a comment in one of my videos. We're asking about anti cheat. They do actually have kernel level anti cheat for BattleEye. I didn't realize that they had kernel level,
Wow.
but that is going to be a thing on PC. So
Yeah,
that's, I
that's
mean, some
amazing.
people like it, some people don't, but just kernel level anti cheat is going to be a thing
Yeah,
for
it's an
Mark on.
extraction shooter. You need like some aggressive form of anti-cheat,
Hmm.
unfortunately. Like, cause like, the loot is the experience. And if we miss out on that experience, like it's gonna be the worst. Like
I
I
think if they can pull off a cheater reward, like a cheater ban reward system, the way Arc does. Arc does like your full kit. I think if you're in a game with a cheater and they ban a person that cheated, they have enough data capacity to find out what you brought into the game and they'll refund you like your year if you died to
yeah,
the cheater.
yeah,
Um, I don't know how hard that is to implement, but even if they can just be like, "Hey, there was a cheater in your game. We banned the cheater. Here's like, $100,000 for the amount of money your kit was worth when you went in or something." You know,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
that'd be nice. On top of having the anti cheat period, like, yeah, they gotta have anti cheat. That's just how it is. But
yeah,
I feel like they should take an extra couple of steps. Monetizing it's a step in anti cheat, and then anti
yeah.
cheat's a step in anti cheat.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I enjoy the fact that they kind of added that. I would have been worried if not. Another kind of detail that they kind of, I believe they revealed is that they have like 60 tick servers, and that's like
is
more
it?
than like Arc, I think, because Arc only has 30. So and what I can say is like the game, at least the last time I we played in that October test was, it felt extremely smooth. Like I had no issues. Like in Arc, when you're having those PvP battles, there's a lot of times where you round the corner and I'm taking damage, or I'm putting a sniper, a Pharaoh's shot straight to a guy's chest,
Yeah.
and it doesn't kill him. And I'm just like, oh, and he's just, I'm like, okay, I guess that's how it goes. But with Marathon, I did not have that issue whatsoever. So, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's responsive. It seems it's good hit reg. I think that's kind of been true since the alpha. Like it ran good.
yeah,
Um, it was more a balancing thing that we always had to worry about, right? But next topic, next thing we missed, the Roomba,
yes,
the
Roomba.
space Roomba. We didn't actually discuss this before we talked about it. I'm assuming you're talking about the suck Roomba, the Roomba that sucks. You,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Hence the name I gave it, the Roomba.
Um, I can only talk about this. I was like, I have to double check and see if this was like shown off when Peanut played, and
It was,
then
it was.
it attacked him and he's going, "It's sucking me, it's
Yeah,
sucking me." I was like, okay,
yeah,
perfect. He's even using our call outs. So
yes.
that's
Let it be known I was the first one to call it the Roomba.
yeah.
But yeah, no, like that was the one thing that I was alluding to when in our last video where I was addressing the comment where the guy was like, yeah, there's floaty bot, like surveyor bots that are just flying just like mare or just
Just
like
like arc raiders.
raiders. And I'm like, yeah, but those bots don't try and suck you, okay? They're not trying to like take your life force from your body. And I mean, like, let's just say like it gets more than one person, you know, and
Yeah,
you don't want to run into it while you're fighting because that thing is I don't know how much detail I could give. So I'm just
I
gonna
don't want
think
to get
of
into
it.
specifics. It definitely catches you off guard though. Like that thing,
Yeah.
the arc in Arc Raiders is very loud and it goes boop 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 from far away. But
Yeah.
like Peanut just walked into it, and I think I would have walked into it too. I didn't hear it when he was on his stream. That thing is like quiet, so it'll really spook you.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's dead silent. Like if you're not paying attention, that thing could just ruin a fight in an instant. And it's just one of those things where you just don't want to be spotted by it. And it's like it kind of puts you in that pressure moment where do I shoot this thing to get it out of the way of the fight or do I take the fight? That's one of those things where it really does create those pressured situations that I wasn't expecting that were realizing that I wanted in terms of like that aerial surveying, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like looking up and
And
down. It
yeah,
adds a lot
but
of.
it wasn't as annoying in terms of like where it's super fast. I'll just give that detail where it's like,
I mean,
yeah,
we saw it. It's not like an arc when a hornet's trying to hit you or a wasp and they're kind of going wee woo. It's more like I am the circle in the sky. Look at me, and it kind of just sits
yeah,
there. So
yeah.
it's
It's I would say it's maybe it's as fast as that surveyor, right? In Arc, a
maybe
tad. Um,
it can move. It moves, but it's not like
yeah,
aggressively trying to juke you.
yeah,
Kind of like Peanut just looked up and kind of just shot it because it's kind of just hanging around. So
yeah,
it's more of a oh, you walked into it. Now you have to look all the way up to shoot it
yeah.
or take damage. You know?
You know, it kind of like reminds me too of one of the details that we talked about that we wanted in the alpha, and I think this was on an episode that we lost, but like there was no suck sound.
Yeah,
And now I'm watching Peanut, and it was like he's got the suck sound. I'm like, we did that. You know what I mean?
yeah. We definitely participated in that comment.
I'm sure there's like a ton of people that were just like, "Yo, you need to have the sucking sound, dog. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
hear. I need to know
quiet.
when I'm
Like do
being
something.
sucked."
You know when the call out needs
But
to happen. You know?
yeah, but now it you know it adds to the immersion. Now I know. You know what I
For
mean?
sure. All right. We got Key Room up next. I think this is still
Yes.
we're going to be talking about Outpost. Um,
Yeah.
but this key section is kind of the middle of the map for the pinwheel area. Dev's talked a lot about it in the previews before this, like, ooh, what's in the pinwheel? Um, Peanut stream, they went around and got keys and got into the pinwheel room that you have to go ahead and get the actual keys to get into. And then once you're
Mm-hmm.
in there, there's like tons of AI. It was also in the video with the Rook Squad and Triage clip where they're just
Mm-hmm.
a million bots pour out the door at one time. You're like, where did these things come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy in there. The PvP fights in that area are crazy, like absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
angles, but also like really fun. You were saying it's kind of like labs. Um,
Yeah.
I think labs is going to be kind of more um, cryo archive, which is kind of more like Stella Montes. Um, to me personally, like you have to do something to get in there. Well, Stella Montes not really anymore, but it was a harder to get to thing and really close quarters. This kind of I hesitate to say that it compares directly to another one in an extraction shooter. It's almost like Labs Light, like Diet Labs, which
Yeah.
is it's probably the same size. Um, a little less daunting than Labs would be because Labs has super juiced AI, and this has the UES bot still. Um, so it's a little bit like a tier lower.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I expect to see that in the cryo archive, but it's a crazy map. It's more like the numbers will flood you in there than the actual quality of the units. Um,
Yeah.
but man, what a crazy map. And the keys are, from Peanut running around finding one in the toilet. I think Gingy found one in the toilet. Um, it's like they randomly spawn, I guess, because they're scouring for them. Um, and that's a puzzle. People can coordinate and do it. If somebody opens the door, you can then go through the door, right? So it's a group
Yeah.
thing to get the door open. You could work together. You could fight people who were doing it. You could let them do it and then sneak in behind them. There's a lot of ways to play around it.
Yeah, most definitely. One thing that I could see when you get to Outpost, one of the things at least want to make a comment on was the fact that like you could definitely tell because I know there's a lot of loot behind, like you're saying, that behind that door,
Hmm.
in that pinwheel, and it's going to be a race for those keys, and that's where like a lot of those tension points are going to come from. Like we're going to end up just converging. Each we know where that green key is, we know where this other key's at, and now we're going to be pushed to fight like pretty
Hmm.
immediately, and that's like part of the reason why it's like that area was just so aggressive because like not only you have the storm pushing you to like push towards each other, you have like right even just the normal rain itself like killing your audio from the exteriors and that intensity. You have and then now you have all the best loot within that pinwheel, and now you have to find the keys, so now it's like this constant funnel of action and what you're supposed to do on that map.
Yeah.
Not including that, we didn't even get to test out what the mission types were going to be. And one thing that, I could probably even like theorize with is that I seen in the trailer, like there was this one thing where like there was a bunch of like red flares that went up. And I could only assume that that's a part of a contract. I
Oh,
would really
actually,
wouldn't know, but
I
yeah.
heard someone say, and everything might have been a comment on one of those videos, or maybe it was one of Jake's videos. Somebody commented, the red flares is the the hot rain, heat storm.
Oh,
It's a defense.
really?
Something at the outpost is shooting in the air as like a defense system, is what it seemed like. Um,
Oh, okay.
so it's like red
Interesting.
missiles launching up, and then the rain happens.
Wow, that's
That's what
sick.
somebody was saying. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
actually true. I didn't watch it, but I was like, well, that makes sense. So maybe it is. But
Yeah.
I fully see like we're probably gonna have quests to go investigate what they're researching there, investigate what the um, flares are, what is hot, investigate the exterior buildings, the pinwheel building, get into that middle room. There's got to be like an end game quest that's like get in there and find some really high end loot after all the bots, right? Um, but speaking of the keys, like pushing people together for that loot and stuff, I think it's pretty big to say that there is a world where we see the keys and the amount of AI in that interior section push people to team up
Yeah.
and play with and like VoIP together and make like an ad hoc raid group. Now maybe they kill each other right at the end. Maybe they don't. That's the fun, right? Is that is
Yeah.
now possible? Like they were doing with those rooks. Like they're just having the rooks team up with them.
Yeah.
Um, that wasn't something that would have been possible in the alpha when we played it because there was no VoIP. And now that
Yeah.
VoIP is in the game, it has suddenly turned this. Oh, it's a difficult three person activity to get in here and get the loot out. Is now well now it can be a really tense co op activity between two teams of three going in and trying not to kill each other on accident
Yeah.
until they kill each other on purpose.
No, that's very true. And another thing too, there's several layers to that. I think one is like I think with the rooks too, because I didn't have very many rooks in my the lobbies that I was going in. So I can
Hmm.
imagine now that extra added layer of intensity because now I have to worry about all these scavengers coming through. And then, like you're saying, when you get to that area of the pinwheel, I mean, I have a story that I could tell without probably going too detailed. But there was a time where we waited and somebody got to the keys and would open the room. Bing, it opens, right? We were getting ready to kill that team. We kill that team, boom. We didn't want to share the loot. We didn't need to. we're going in. So we're, we're rushing through, doing what runners do, running.
We're Scooby Dooing in there,
we're going in.
you
And then another team comes in right behind us. And I start trying to prox chat them, and they didn't want to, so we died. It was actually the funny part is we started trying to prox chat one, like, we don't gotta do this. It was a full team of voids,
That's crazy.
or
The stacking is gonna be crazy for some of these teams.
yeah. How I found out was I was talking to the one void, and he didn't care. He wasn't taking none of it. He didn't even want to talk back. The other two showed up behind me with shotguns, so I died. They just was like boom, right, right there, and I just dead.
Yeah, and I don't think we got to talk about Rook a ton last time we did this.
Yeah,
But Rook, scav mode, basically random gear go in the middle of a game that's already in progress. It's always in
yeah,
trios. You're always a solo.
yeah,
Um, I think when we were playing, there wasn't a bunch of people doing Rooks because our testing group was so small and
yeah,
we had developer gear to play with for
yeah,
portions of it, right? Um,
yeah,
I think once we see a full like release 1.0, and probably during the network test even, there's gonna be a lot of people who are just like trying to casually play a game or two, or try to like queue up, between going out somewhere and uh, getting ready for bed, and they're like, I just want to play a game of Marton, queue in on Rook, and just run around VoIPing people and try to get a cool, you know, quick game
yeah,
out of VoIP. So that's something that like we haven't experienced, but like is definitely on the table because we've seen how it's panned out with Arc Raiders. Um, People do stuff like that in Tarkov. There's a lot of goofing around in Tarkov, but Tarkov's still a bit more serious. Arc Raiders, I think there's going to be a good amount of people that enjoyed doing that are going to find that opportunity here now. And
yeah,
those people are going to be in our games more than they were in our testing. So I'm actually really excited to see how many rooks can be on a map at once. I don't have a clue. I've probably seen like no more than one rook a game, if even. So
yeah,
if we see like 7, 8 rooks in a game, that's a lot of people. You know,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
maps aren't that big, aren't huge in this game. You'll definitely run into some of them. So that's like exciting, interesting stuff.
Yeah, you definitely can get like probably overwhelmed. You
Yeah.
know what I
Oh,
mean?
oh my god, I'm terrified of the possibility of like a rook battalion grouping up together.
Yeah.
If there's like 8 rooks, even if they only have knives, what are the odds you cut down 8 people before they knife you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna be like zombies.
Yeah, it's literally infected.
One thing I'll say too is like, at least for the rooks, like, good luck out there because you're just armed with a pistol. Let me tell you, like that's all you got. They are not nice to you in terms of your loadout as a scav. You really are a scav, and it's not
Yeah,
like
and I mean,
Tarkov where
you
it's
you
like you
get
get a
random
random.
stuff. It is random. Um, we've spawned it with different gear to start with every
Yeah.
time,
Well,
but
wait. Did you get a new? I always had a pistol. I
I
was
always
running
had something
pistol.
different. I think you just got
Really?
RNG'd.
Oh, no way. Oh, I always had a pistol. I thought it was just
Oh,
pistol
I'm
only.
sure it's like bad stuff. Like
Yeah.
like my favorite gun in the game, the Overrun. It's the
Oh, yeah. Wonderful.
I'd rather take the pistol, but no, I there's definitely a lot of things you could spawn in with. It's definitely a variety of stuff.
Yeah.
But you probably just got bad RNG'd.
Dude, that kind of like triggers me. I'm not gonna lie. Freaking Durandal was not nice to me. You know what I mean?
No,
That
he wanted you
son
to
of a
suffer.
that son of a gun.
But I'll tell you what,
Bastard.
even loading in with if it's just a pistol, it's better than what I was doing in the alpha when I was just going in with a knife. And that was it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
queuing
Oh
up.
yeah.
Well, at least you got something.
Back in the day though, like it was just knife. It was even when you do knife though, it was like so like you just stab everything that instantly dies. And now I know they dialed that back too. They're not that easy where you can just stab something, grab an overrun, and there you go.
Who knows? I mean, I think one of the things is I think that when they were going through killing the bots, bots dropped different stuff than they used to. When we played in the alpha, I think every bot we killed dropped a shield charge or a med kit and ammo and a gun and a box with stuff in it. And when they were like playing the other day with Peanut, they did
Yeah.
not do that anymore. So what you bring in is more important, I think, than it was
Yeah.
before. Another thing we
I,
could talk
I
about just the stuff that
yeah.
we saw in Peanut and some of the other gameplay stuff they showed off. Stack sizes have changed a lot.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I think when we were playing in April, light ammo was like 240 rounds in a stack in your inventory.
Yeah.
Now I think it's 100. Last when they were
Oof.
showing off.
Yo,
Um,
that's rough.
and then heavy ammo went from like was it like 180 to like
Yeah.
80 or something like 70 per
Gee
stack.
whiz.
So I mean we've seen that the weapons kill faster, right?
Yeah.
So they upped the time to kill, it looks, or down the time to kill, up the damage per second, and then
Yeah.
cut back on how much you carry per stack. So I think it's an interesting dynamic. I wonder if you get the same kills per stack of ammo, and that's
Yeah.
like a ratio they did. It's hard to say, but
Yeah.
I find it interesting that the ammo stacks are so much lower than they were before.
Yeah, no, I think that again, that just plays into the intensity and you know, I kind of felt it was okay with the way the ammo stacks were, but at the same token, it's really cool not to sort of just be mucking around with like 240, you know what I mean,
Oh my god.
bits of ammo.
Well,
And
I
just
mean, we would
feeling
spawn in with like 4 stacks of bully ammo, and
yeah.
it was crazy. But meds too. Meds got slashed.
Yeah.
They're three
Yeah,
now instead of 5.
we're
So
getting some chat, and I would love to interact with some of these people. First off, Ivy, he was kind of mentioning that he was looking to possibly get us to talk about Resident Evil
Requiem, I think.
Requiem.
Yeah, I saw it.
Are you a big Resident Evil fan?
Me? No, I haven't
Yeah.
played Resident Evil since Resident Evil 4 came out. I
Oh,
played Resi
no.
4 when it was new on
Yeah.
like PS2.
Yeah.
And then I was
That's
like,
my jam.
I must have been like 8 or something.
I've
I
played
was
them
like,
all
this is
except
scary.
for
I don't like it.
I've played them all except for Res. What's this called? The Res. I think it was
The most
seven,
recent?
8.
Oh, like
Yeah,
Biohazard
7 and 8.
and
Yeah,
the other
I
one?
wasn't a big fan of the first person. I'm not gonna lie, but
Interesting.
it did look really
Have
cool.
you
You know
tried?
what I
Have you thought
mean?
about
But
playing it in VR? Because they
I
have VR
probably
support.
not. I would probably get jump scared.
Yeah, it was pretty terrifying.
Ivy also mentioned that he's like he would love to see us there. Hey, listen, I don't know if you're part of Jake the Alright's Discord, but let's just say I might be a man down, and I'm gonna be playing a lot of marathons. So I might be hopping in that Discord. So if you guys are there, or maybe who knows, it might be fun for a little not great episode. We could actually jam out with some of the like a viewer.
Yeah.
Might be kind of cool.
Um,
Something we think about towards the future.
we also have I think it's Acids PT Gaming. I'm just calling you Acids. Um, who is excited for Marathon, and we are too, which is why we're doing this.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and I do see you just mentioned I'm going to get back to what you said again, but now I'm reading Acids. I'm just going to read that we haven't talked about PVE exclusively today. We're going to talk more about the PVE in a bit. We do like the PVE in the game. It's its own interesting thing. I think we talked about it probably after the alpha in the alpha test stuff, because this is our 4th version of this podcast, right? Um,
Yeah,
but definitely the PVE stands. It works. We're going to
yeah,
talk about some of the things in the in-game events later on
yeah,
today to talk about PVE a
yeah,
bit more. Um, but just so you know, you haven't missed all the PVE talk.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So we be touching on some more.
and then Ivy said, "How do we choose our loadouts for a long extraction session?" Um,
Ooh,
I will say typically, so there's 2 ways I play extraction shooters. There's questing mode, and there's having fun fighting people mode. For questing mode, when I'm trying to do quests, I'm trying to gather materials, I'm trying to earn money. I specifically pick a loadout that's something that I can reliably buy for really low price that if I get into a fight, I can make it out with, but is not like the best stuff ever, right? So typically, I'd say if a full bag of crafting materials would be able to pay for it, that's my questing stuff. And then if I'm like I'm gonna go PvP, then the amount of money I spend on it's irrelevant because I'm probably gonna lose it all anyways. So I just buy the good stuff when it's PvP time. I think typically I'm more of a one gun Andy. I don't like bringing two guns most of the time because I'd
Yeah.
rather have an empty slot to take somebody else's gun because it saves the inventory
Hmm.
space. But if I'm running a sniper or a shotgun or something that's like super niche like that, then I'll bring a second gun, and that's usually pistol, SMG, something like
Yeah.
that, and a ton of
I think
meds.
that's kind of yeah. That's kind of like how I go about it as well, right? Like, what am I going there for, right? Is a couple missions, or sometimes I base it off of what's the mission, right? Is it collecting certain loot? Is it hunting players? Because sometimes with extraction shooters, these are the missions that you get. And when you're going straight for that, it's like, okay, I have to, let me gear up a little bit. I kind of
Hmm.
want to. I like going big as much as possible in terms of like these fights. Because I want a gun that's also going to be shooting straight, right? Comparatively to like a gun when I'm questing, I just need something that's going to shoot, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the big things about it is if I don't know how many extraction shooters you guys have played, but if you are playing an extraction shooter and you want to be playing games a lot, like you want to queue up a lot of matches, one of the things I think is really big is finding a way to very quickly rebuy your loadout because one of the biggest time sinks in games like Tarkov or Hunt, if you don't have a loadout saved, is finding all the things you just had and rebuying them takes
Yeah,
time. And it's part
yeah,
of it is it's time to cool off, and think about what happened. But definitely, if you pre-think about today, I want to be using this gun, and you're not thinking about it every time you leave a match about what you're going to run next, then that can save you a lot of time to queue up more games.
yeah, yeah. No, in terms of how would you say? Acid had mentioned that at the same time you got to bring heavy guns to take out bosses.
Hmm.
They are no joke, especially that one in the lockdown event.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
thinking about the event, and I couldn't tell you how the game is balanced now. We haven't gotten really to test where they currently are in damage. In the alpha, when we played it and we were doing all that stuff, um, I think even something overruns were pretty rough. If you went in with like an overrun and tried to fight a purple, it sucked. Even with three people.
yeah,
Anything better than an overrun in a three stack, I think is good. If you're
yeah,
playing solo, then and you want to kill a boss, you definitely need to think about what your bossing weapon is. I
yeah,
agree. Um, if you're playing with a team, even if you're running three snipers and nothing else, you can probably
yeah,
knife a boss with three people. But if you're
yeah.
solo, you punch that boss, you die. That's pretty much how it is. Just
Pretty
the
much.
power of having two other people is it triples your damage, right? So even the most
Exactly.
mundane stuff becomes good for bossing. If you're playing
Yeah.
solo,
What?
it's a totally different game.
Well, that definitely could lead into. We are going to talk about games is a part of, or games, guns is a part of some of the things that we wanted to touch on. So
Yeah, we
we'll
want to talk about
save
our
a little
favorite
bit of it.
things in a
Yeah,
little bit.
we should probably finish out our topic then with Outpost, and we'll get in.
Yeah.
That being said, I do want to again shout out one last comment. Alpha Silverback man. My apologies. Says this is a great podcast. I'm rooting for you guys. I know how much this game means to you. Listen, thank you.
Aw,
I
thanks.
appreciate it.
I missed that earlier. Thanks, Alpha.
Yeah, it's that means a lot, and as well, he says, "Love you, Anthony, and nice to meet you,
It's me.
Justin. It's nice to meet you too. Thank you for." I'm hugging you right now. It looks like I was groping you. I was hugging you. I'm so sorry. Um, But no, I am definitely grateful that you kind of like welcoming me into the fold in terms of the podcast and everything. And we hope you enjoy it. And this, we'll be
Sure.
posting these to YouTube as well. So
Hmm.
it's gonna be exciting.
If
So
anybody
if you
wants to
ever
catch
miss out
up
on
and miss
any,
stuff, yeah, it'll be
yeah.
on YouTube. So.
Yes, yes. But one thing I want to talk about in terms of Outpost was we talked about the intensity and how the
Hmm.
map is always sort of pushing you together. One of the things that was kind of cool, it's just more or less a cool detail, is that these maps, like you would think, like, are they just these empty doorways, flat like surface areas? Because some extraction shooters, Delta Force, like there's not a lot of doors or like sort of interactable stuff for the environment,
Yeah.
very small amounts. And one thing that I can say about Marathon, at least the Outpost map, is that there are interactable areas of like certain ways that you can go. Like one of the things that they showed off was Peanut and Joe Ziegler in their live stream. They go down this insanely cool elevator that's just like at the top of the pinwheel, and it's almost like this type of cargo container that you're on top of, and it just lowers down. Like those are cool, unique ways that you can approach the map, and it's very interactable in terms of like it's not just these empty areas that
Hmm.
you can also create certain plays with. Like think of a game, take Warzone for example. You're getting chased by a certain player. You can
Me,
now shut the
I'm
door, turn
chasing you.
around. You shut the door, and now when you shut the door, and it gives you that moment to reposition, that moment to get ready for your new plan of attack. And as that person's chasing you, now they have to approach that particular way differently, right? They're like, if I go down here, am I just going to get beamed, or can I take a different route because I know that there's a secret elevator event that I can cut or open or and I can go through. And that's one thing that I feel like can get overlooked is map design for these types of games. And I can confidently say that the map design is really awesome. And yeah,
I'm
what would
excited
your
to
take be?
like find more stuff because I feel like
Yeah,
when we played in the alpha, we had the vents was the main thing. We had there's plenty of doors and like glass to break and things like that. A lot of that stuff too works as like sound traps, where if you're closing the doors after you walk through them, it's easier for you to hear somebody open the door behind you, or if you turn around and you see it that it's open, you're like, somebody's here. So the more interactables there are, the better. I think, just in general. Too many could
yeah,
get annoying if you have to like spam open door 14 times to get through a compound. It might be a little rough, but
yeah,
the more dynamic stuff they add, the better. I think they're doing a good job. You know, we don't have a ton of
yeah,
examples, but I feel like there's also a bunch of stuff that we haven't seen yet that we'll see in the network test. Um,
yeah. And yeah, I think that's that probably what almost sums it up for Outpost. Or
yeah,
do
I think
we
that's
have?
our outpost stuff. I don't have any specific notes about Outpost other than it. I think it is a really fun map. Um,
Yeah,
it might be my favorite.
yeah. It's a top. It's a top. What I love too, and even people in the chat are saying, or specifically Acid is talking about like the atmosphere, and the atmosphere of that map is, I think, it
Hmm.
sells it even more for me.
Yeah,
Right?
it is
It's
haunting, like he's saying.
yeah. One of the things that I hope to see at some point is a little bit more leaning into that night play. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah,
in the
I'd like time
loops,
of day for all
yeah,
maps. I think.
yeah, oh yeah, that would be so cool. And then like just imagine like a you're getting into a an engagement, and now you have to approach it differently because certain areas of the map are super dark. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? You need to bring in that gear for like seeing through like certain areas, or maybe you
We'd
have
need a
to run like
flashlight.
safe or
I'd
something.
like a flashlight
Yeah,
system by that point, and that's
yeah,
something that they could add later.
yeah,
I it can't be that hard to implement to press
yeah,
T to toggle flashlight or something. I don't know, but
yeah.
I would like to
That
see that kind of system and light play a role. I feel like it's big in other extraction shooters. Hunt has really divisive night maps because people who use sniper scopes hate playing night maps because it's hard to see at night with a scope, so they just leave. But I love night maps. Tarkov,
Yeah.
Hunt, even Arc. I like the design of the maps. They're not very dark and grimy and hard to play compared to Hunt and Tarkov. But the
Yeah.
atmosphere of the night games is pretty spot on,
Rage.
especially because
Yeah.
half the time I'm playing these games, the sun's already gone down. You know, it's 6 p.m. in the winter, and you're like, "Well, it's dark
Yeah.
out. Why is my game not dark?" So
Yeah.
thematically, I like having the option.
Me too, me too. Rage had mentioned he's like bring back the Halo CE flashlight. That would be cool.
True,
Battery powered,
do it.
where it just had a certain limit. I think that actually would be a very unique. He also says you can me just you know what? Listen, that's
Ah,
very sweet
ah,
of you.
ah.
That's
That's
very
consent.
sweet of you. Thank you, Rage.
That's
It's
all you
consent.
need.
I I appreciate it. I see you. I see you.
So
Uh
I do want to move into our first main section for this episode. That's
yes.
not catching up on Outpost, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is our favorite shells. Like we're coming up on the network test. There's going to be changes that we haven't tried, characters we haven't been able to play, plenty of people who are going to be playing that haven't played before. It's going to be a lot of stuff for us to learn and progress, and then seeing how the factions and faction upgrades change, like what's available to us at the start.
Yeah.
So going into it, I want to look back at what we've played, what we've seen in the trailers, our lore knowledge, cutscenes, the cinematic trailer. So like, what are our favorite shells? What runners do we like, and why? Not necessarily just gameplay. If you like the personality of the shells from some of the trailers and earlier stuff, which one of those are your favorite and everything.
Yeah. Shells and whew, let me think. Let me think. Who could it be? Definitely, number one, my girl, forever will be Blackbird to me,
Oh,
also
okay.
known as the
Whew.
Recon. Always my favorite shell. I think, like, in terms of, especially now that in seeing these trailers, we're able to see those details. And I think we talked about last podcast where they upped some of her ability
Yeah,
because, you can crack shield and you could actually track them before you couldn't.
yeah, yeah.
So now that they added that, like, definitely, I'm normally not the UAV guy, the recon player, the guy who wants all that information. I normally play medic, right?
But
But
recon looks
surprisingly
cool.
enough, recon looks cool, and on top of that, I mean, they're the only ones with the USEC vest. I love USEC is my favorite faction, but UEC, sorry, UESC. Ah,
Close enough.
either way, you all get what I mean. But in terms of the character, like the design is awesome and the functionality is like really cool. And they actually released some of those cores that she has, and one of them I didn't even get to use, but one of them is like when she throws that tick, that she has,
Yeah.
when it's tracking players down, it releases like a frag grenade round, like frangible rounds.
Oh.
So like it
Oh.
can essentially, it's not just like a chem nade that will
It's
damage you
also a
and slow you
frag.
down. Yeah, it's also a frag. Like that is going to be super awesome because anytime I'm in engagement and I know like my team's far away and I'm instantly like, they push me instantly, I throw the tick and then I sort of take cover into the next section because then that allows me the time to either run or I can take somebody in a fight and then rotate when I need to. So that character in itself, and it's going to be really important now that we didn't even get to touch on this, that we should probably throw on there. Ranked, that there's like sort of this whole level of ranked is going to
Yeah.
be really important to figure out, what is an important character to bring, important shell to bring, and I think that, Blackbird's a top tier because you need to know where these players are or even enemy AI,
Yeah.
what's around you, because sometimes you just don't know and you need that information. So
Yeah.
for that reason, like she's my number one.
I think when we played the alpha, I think we talked about it in our podcast after the alpha test that I considered Blackbird to be the weakest of the cast, but also
Yeah.
the one you always bring in a three stack. Like
Yeah.
it's invaluable, but in a 1v1, I felt like she's been the weakest. As I've gone through and done the runner series recently, and been like going back and watching the footage, I like the character. I love the character concept. The character art is great.
Yeah.
The helmet opening up is like my favorite thing in the game.
It's so
I
sick.
like not playing the character so I can see somebody else do it in live time. Um,
Yeah.
but the recon drone is like really good. Like it tracks people. It lets you know when they're
Yes.
there. It's got a good cooldown, decent damage over time.
Yeah.
Like very 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 strong stuff.
And on top
I
of
was
that
really against
too,
her
is
passive, that finisher thing, but
oh yeah,
I like
where
it.
she marks
Yeah,
the other
I thought it was
players.
always
Yeah.
rough because you have to really play aggressively to do it, and most of the
Yeah.
time your teammates are going to thirst them, or you're going to have to kill them, or they're going to get res, right? Like it's hard to be in
Yeah.
a position to do it to get the most value, but when you do, it feels pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And she has high
It's
finisher stat, which gives her more
yeah.
shields and stuff, so she like really benefits from doing it. So I like the character. I think in teams you want to have one. Um, I still think in solo she's not going to be the best. But in
Yeah.
teams, like it's an invaluable slot to have recon. Um,
Most definitely.
there's one other agent that is competing for recon as a specialty, and it's not really a competition. It's like I can do a half-legged impression of you.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It,
Wall hacks is just big.
yeah. Are you thinking of Thief?
Yeah.
Is that
Um, which I
yeah,
was gonna wait to
she
say that's my favorite character because I haven't played
well,
her
I mean,
to
we
this
can
day.
you can yeah.
No, yeah. My favorite that I haven't played is Thief because she's been my favorite character since they revealed the pictures. I think we've talked about it. Um, when I was doing Shadow Talks Marathon, the first thing or the last thing I did on the channel before the alpha came out was I was gonna do like a concept of all the runners and like ability sets that they could have. There were two actives, two
Yeah.
passives, and a selection. The first one I did was Thief because I was like, Thief's cool. I want to be a thief. Thief is still cool, so that's why I have this right here, this bad boy. Sitting on my desk,
Nice.
just
Mine's in a
wrapped up.
box, but I have
Favorite cable.
him.
Um,
That's so sick.
I haven't played her. I can't tell if she'll be my favorite after I play her. You know,
Yeah.
I hope she will be. But of the ones we've played, Destroyer maybe. I think Loki.
Destroyer.
I think Glitch is the best. Vandal, as I've always said, double jump's really good. Love playing her, but I like thrusters more than I like power slide. Thrusters is just really good.
Yeah. And he's again, he's got that ability to create space, right? So like and I think you need a character that's going to be able to create that space, right? Like so when you're getting in this engagement and you're going to need that guy that's tanking the damage, taking the aggro while
Yeah,
your void does a rotation or your glitch goes around and sort of tries to take the cake and
yeah.
fights enemies and so if you but the thing is you can get easily overwhelmed with that particular character too, so you just have to be very mindful anytime you're using any of these characters. And excuse me, I need a little bit of water.
And that's one of the things I think we mentioned when we did this talking about it last time, and I've tried to mention it every time I talk about a ranking, which is I think the cast is really well balanced. They have strengths that are unique to them, but they have weaknesses that pretty much every other character has a way to take advantage of, right? Um, like Destroyer's got a tanky shield, crazy movement, burst movement, and a really probably the best ultimate in the game. I think the best prime, the rocket barrage battery, immobilize plus extra damage is just really good in a fight. Um, but he gets overheated by Blackbird and gets wall hacked by Blackbird. Walks past an invis void. Glitch can compete with you for the horizontal movement, And she can get on top of buildings, which you can't do. Thief is able to get on top of buildings as well. Um,
Yeah.
she doesn't really have much else to do other than get on top of buildings, but everybody has something they can do to fight locusts. And I think the part of it is if you can't fight locust slash destroyer, you can make up the difference with equipment. Which I kind of want to talk about equipment and weapons. They start them kind of weapons, but grenades,
Yeah.
claymores, chem grenades, um, what the bubble shield that was in the stuff and whatever.
Oh
Like
yeah.
there's a lot of different equipment that can help you fight other runners that you aren't set up for ability wise. But that's why I think some runners just have innate advantages where Blackbird kind of has a chem grenade, and Glitch kind of has a frag grenade, but they're not actually those items specifically. But there's so much layers of getting to play with team comps. And we haven't even talked about, like, when we talk about the game, we're usually thinking about it in terms of three people with three different characters. But there's a world where you're playing it with three people all playing the same character or two of one character. Like double ox, or sorry, double triage would probably be like really good and ranked. Like a double triage Blackbird team sounds disgusting. And but at that point, then the thirsting becomes the meta. You always kill the guy that gets down so he can't get rezzed. So then Ox loses some power, and maybe people stop playing triage, and they switch double triage to double locust and blackbird. And next thing you know, you see the wall hack come through. You're like, oh, there's a recon here, and then out around the corner comes flying two locusts with shotguns at the same time, and just absolutely dump truck you.
Yeah.
Um, there's so much fun. I think I like we
Yeah.
we didn't experience everything that I'm talking about, but like we experienced bits and
Yeah.
pieces of it in the alpha of like
Yeah.
having a double locust fly around a corner at you and get whacked. You're like, what the hell just happened? That
Yeah.
stuff's awesome. It's a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see how goofy people get with it. Like somebody mentioned today that the Chinese gameplay was playing triple glitch. And that was like one of the things Bungie showed off the first time they revealed the game. They were
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can play three glitch if you want, um, which I think is gonna be like a high level thing because the I've always said Glitch has the strongest set just because she has double jump.
Yeah.
You have to be good enough to use it and smart enough to use it. It's a really big skill
Yeah.
gap for like you as a player to beat other people, but I think it's worth
Yeah.
it. Like that's like the fact that it is possible to do all these comps and all these characters and they're all interesting to some degree. And I know I'm gonna play all of them. I assume you're gonna play all of them. You know,
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
a couple times. So
Yeah.
definitely a lot of stuff to talk about. Ivy back. We're talking about our favorite characters to play, favorite
Yeah.
shells in
Favorite
Marathon.
characters. One of the things too that I can mention as well is that it's gonna be worth knowing how to mess with all these types of characters because let's say for example somebody wants to use my Blackbird, but maybe he's like a little bit better with it, right? Or that's just the character that they want to use, and I want to change it up just a tad. You have to have that ability to be like, okay, I can pick up this character
Hmm.
and at least know a degree of how to use them. So I think it's definitely worth it, especially again, if you're going to get into ranked, like you need to know your guys' archetypes and what's your fallback from the first one. Because maybe Blackbird that day, I'm just not playing good with her.
And
And
maybe
I
you all
needed,
just have your one that you play the best and you queue it up no
yeah,
matter what, even if it doesn't make
yeah,
like sense to most people. If you know how to
yeah.
play with each other with the characters, like
Yeah,
that's
it's
pretty good
gonna
for
this
ranked.
the synergy is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
You mentioned too, like having two locusts. Now I can imagine sort of doing PvE focus things. This is something that we haven't really discussed. It's like now imagine we're in cold storage or we're in Pinwheel and we find a unique boss or something like that, right?
Hmm.
And if you're in those particular situations, like you want to be maybe you're building almost like a PvE
Yeah.
build that is maybe like a ton of freaking locusts that just whip out the shield so that
And
way
you can
you're
juggle
protecting each
aggro
other.
and yeah,
Yeah. And he even has that core where it sort of recycles the damage from his shield
which
into
is
his normal
so
shields.
sick to whip that out halfway
Yeah,
through a fight
it's cracked.
for a quick heal. That's pretty crazy. A lot of the
That is
golds are kind of crazy.
insane.
we can kind of talk about the cores in a little bit when we get to like build crafting,
Yes,
but
yes.
the base runners are cool. The cores are, I think, even more interesting. They're kind of like the selling point for me is being able to do this customization. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Justin likes this game. Justin loves
Yeah,
like
yeah. I love this game. Listen,
bro,
this
we have been
this
fiending
game,
for this game ever since
yeah.
the alpha ended in April last year. Every couple of days, I know I'll send a message to you, Justin, or I'll send something to Jake, or some of our other friends who
Yeah.
played, and I'm just like, got any more of that? Any more of that marathon? What?
Give me some of that marathon.
I
Give
just
me
want to
that
play it.
marathon.
It was
Yeah, no,
good.
like this game all around, and I mentioned it, I believe last episode, and maybe at the top of the this particular episode, but it just not only is it just such a cool game, and it's one of my favorite studios. I mean, Halo is one of my top games of all time that I love. Mass Effect first, but like this is one of those games that are just spectacular, and it shaped my childhood, and there's something about the art from the art style that is just magnificent. I've never had an art style ever speak to me like this art style has. It's just so unique. I'm a
Hmm.
person that I'm a creative. I want to be a creative producer. I like doing animations. I write and all this stuff. So like having that inspo of like, oh yeah, I want that art style one day when I'm like developing an animation or a film or something like that would be really cool. But on top of all the layers of like the cool, unique, and I love extraction shooters. So like this game is it's
Yeah,
Bungie, it's extraction shooters, the art. We're gonna touch on even some of the story. Like everything is just so perfect for me, as well as the community that I got to meet. I mean, like everybody from Sadow to Jake to Bon, these individuals that I was able to connect with, and even some of the guys from the Discord, like
yeah,
Raji, Michael Kozlowski, and the list goes on. Unified, I believe it's Unified. Or if I said your name wrong, I'm so sorry. But all these fantastic individuals that I've connected with through this has been great, right? And not even listen. A lot of times I'm just collaborating for collaboration's sake because I'm so invested in this game and I want to see it thrive. And so it makes me happy to sit here and have a whole podcast about where it's not just marathon. Listen, we'll talk about other stuff eventually,
yes, we
but
will.
right now it's marathon and I just want to scream it to the. I mean, look, I got a custom hoodie and everything.
My
It's
shirt's upstairs. I
crazy.
didn't wear it today. I didn't think about it.
Dude, we could do it on the launch.
Yeah,
We
oh,
gotta be
I'm
marathon
100%
out.
wearing it for launch day. I'm gonna wear it for probably network
Yeah,
or beta test day too. Why not?
yeah, yeah. Our
I
next
can wash it in
episode or
between.
something, we'll coordinate.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got I got another hoodie.
We'll have a uniform next time.
Yeah.
um,
But so yeah, sorry, side note, let's probably get back to favorite games, but again, I do appreciate that you guys noticed how excited I was about this.
I want to comment on Rage as well, saying they thought Locust was going to be his main because it played like Halo 5 Titan, but
Yo.
Blackbird stole his heart. Look, I ragged on Blackbird a lot after the
Yeah,
alpha and some of the tests, but after I watched
yeah.
the footage back more and more, I'm like, man, I kind of did well in that character. I kind of liked the pings, and I don't know.
Listen, I went from useless to useful.
Yeah, yeah. It felt like how do I say it? The other characters are made to be aggressive and push like that, but
Yeah,
Blackbird's not made to push very aggressively, so I feel more rewarded when I push aggressively with Blackbird. When I'm in somebody's face trying to punch them so I can get the finisher, I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
this is how this character was definitely meant to be played. Was running in to knife people.
Yeah, yeah. No, it would be again, I love Blackbird, man. What can I tell you? Too when they that void, you know what I mean? That pesky void that I still have a disdain for will like go invis and hit its smoke. Sorry, bud. One, two, three. I got a knuckle sandwich for you and it's in the palm of my hand. You know what I mean?
It's the
And
bomb.
like the
Oh my
knuckle. But
god.
anyway, the point is, okay, is that like I can, I'm ready. I'm ready to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
out. I'm ready to hunt, and that's gonna be just so awesome. But we gotta move along.
Yeah,
Okay,
so let's talk
what are
about
we gonna
favorite
do?
weapons. Weapons are so cool. I'll tell you, I'm going to include, we're not going to touch about all the weapons. I kind of want to talk
Yeah,
about like the things that we really enjoyed using.
you
Um,
could show them the site too. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. I got to figure out how to get that to actually
oh,
show up right.
oh, okay.
Um, but I really liked the equipment in Marathon, and I count that as weapon, right? We're talking. I lost this for a second. There we go. We're talking grenades, claymores. I just love both of those as items. Um, I was probably the claymore king of the alpha.
Yeah.
Somebody made a GIF of my claymore double kill when I slid all the way down into the middle of a fight to drop it in front of
No
some
way.
guy's face. Somebody made a GIF of
No
it, and
way.
I saw it in Jake's server. Somebody was posting it in response to things. I was like, "Wait, where did you get this?" And like, I just found it. I was like, "This is my clip. This is sick." So I have it saved. Um, so definitely, like, I learned probably like halfway through the grenades and the claymores, the chem grenades, almost anything we could press the G button and it would throw was really good.
Yeah.
Everything was like fight defining, and I felt like people were kind of undervaluing them. And it's probably
Hmm.
because in most games, their accents, like you bring grenades and equipment to accent your build and not the focus of your build. But surprisingly, in things like Tarkov and Hunt, grenades are really important. I just kind of figured Bungie would not make them so strong. I just felt like they kind of wanted to lean into straight gunfighting. But they imported them so well, and they're actually like really strong. So bringing even just one or two and using it well can flip a fight really quickly and just
Yeah.
instantly snag you a kill. So it's pretty worth the extra, you know, price of an entire gun on a one-time use thing because it does the entire thing. It'll get you a kill instantly, and sometimes it's what you need.
Yeah.
Sometimes the area denial of having somebody just be scared of walking into the claymore laser they see and give you time to heal and stuff like that. So that's probably my favorite stuff is the actual deployable weapons were really good,
Yeah.
and that something that I just really enjoyed.
And they take up a lot of backpack space. So
They
there's like a
do.
level of, balance there where I mean, if you're gonna do backpacks, like literally that's like two weapon slots that you're taking up, or two grenades, I mean, in your backpack. And that's not really the most optimal choice all the time. You know what I mean? I'm sure it can make for some memes. You know what I mean? Like think of like MW3. What's that one streamer where he's just like fireball, 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 and he's
Yes.
just
Oh my
like
god, that
spamming,
guy's. I've seen his shorts.
yeah, electric attack, and he's just like I can imagine a ton of funny clips, especially with the proxy chat now. That's gonna be hilarious. But I don't think that, as in terms of like a serious build, it's the best build. Is to just like all nade. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I was very surprised with how powerful these nades were. And they create space. They allow you to sort of, uh, if anything, there was a lot of times where I was going against AI, and I'm like, I don't really want to chuck this nade at an AI. Like, I
Yeah.
want this nade in my back pocket for when there's an instance where I need to close off an area. Like, you were Claymore King. I love chem nades. Like, those are
Yeah.
my
They
favorite
were also so cool.
because like not only are you sticking the person and you're damaging them, you're also like sticking them with this like glow, right? Where
Fluorescent green.
now,
They look like you
yes,
right now, actually, with your lighting.
yeah, yeah, they're just a walking freaking glow stick
And they leave
when you hit
footprints.
them. Yeah, and they're leaving footprints, so I'm able to track them. And a lot of times, especially, mind you, again, those pesky voids. Let me tell you, they're pesky. They're pesky. Those guys, you know who you are. I would throw a bunch of chemnades in the smoke, and it would mark the guy as he's invis taking damage. and
Yeah.
he's this glowy mess. Like he looks like I'm hunting the predator. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the other thing that's really interesting with the chem grenades is I think they, after they did their damage, they applied like the chem debuff. I forget what it's called. There was the debuff,
Yeah.
and it would
Yep.
make you take like double the time to heal. Oh my god. There
Yep.
was nothing more annoying than accidentally stepping in your own chem grenade for one step,
Yep.
and then the fight
Yep.
ends and you have to spend like 3 minutes trying to
Yeah.
heal. But
Yep. Which kind of plays into some of the equipment. You know what I mean? Like because they have the stems, right? That can you can counteract some of the effects where they don't last as long, and you have some damage. How would you say? You could avoid getting that damage, right?
yeah.
And take that status effect off. So it is going to be important to pay attention to those particular stems that you're bringing in as well, because not only do they give you speed, right? They're going to also lay into, and maybe that's part of my favorite weapon or equipment is that sort of aspect was, I would hit those stems all the time, even if I didn't need them. Like, and I'm pulling them off of a body, and I'm like I'm rummaging through a body. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a debuff stem.
I'm gonna
Boom.
pop it.
I pop it every single time because I'm like, I'm not gonna put this to waste, and it helps a lot.
You're not gonna poison me.
Yeah, not today. I ain't gonna get myself.
I'm gonna cycle this over really quick to
Yeah.
the website. Guys, I'm testing things. All right, I'm gonna put up the
We got
BRB screen,
graphics.
and then I'm gonna get rid of our face cam group, and we're gonna put this on, and we're gonna take that off, and there you go, video playing. It's a little not sized correctly. We can work on that. Um, but the
Awesome.
taoseti.world website, something that I haven't really gotten to show off yet. So we're just really quickly going to take a look at it. If you normally, when you load in, you get the map of the location, and you can go see the actual overlays of each of the maps in game. So we got Perimeter, Dire Marsh, and Outpost, and then you can switch over. They added, I think, yesterday, today. I saw Jake's video today about it. And I was like, we should talk about that today while we're doing this. But you can see 8 out of the 28 weapons that are in the game, which is the M77 assault rifle, the Magnum. We've got the Twin Tap, which is the 2 round burst uh, assault rifle, the Long Shot, which is the sniper that we had in the alpha, the Waster combat shotgun, which is the 2 barrel, the Bully SMG, which was like top tier in the alpha,
Oh yeah.
railgun, which was I think a sleeper pick, but also not as good as the long shot, just unfortunately. And then the 3 round burst volley rifle that they've been showing off that people have been like, wait, is that a burst rifle? And it's like, yes, that is a burst rifle. They do still make those.
Yes.
They got a couple of
AKA
skins and stuff in here.
the battle rifle.
Correct. Yeah.
Sorry.
But there's stuff for you to look at. There's models. So we kind of were thinking about what weapons we'd want to talk about and what our favorites were. So we talked equipment and stims. So what gun do you really really like?
Ooh. I mean, one of them's not on this list, but we're gonna stick to the list for sakes, for keeps and sakes, because I would hate to spoil anything. Well, one of my favorites definitely is between. Oh, this is actually a tough choice. Um, because one of them I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna say the one that I had a ton of time with, and that is the B33 volley rifle. If you like a classic Halo battle rifle, this is the gun for you. Let me pitch it to you guys. Think Halo, and that's it. There you go. It's a fantastic, it's a fantastic VR, of which we know they do really well. I mean, the style looks really sick, and on top of that, the gun itself has really great, what'd you say, damage. The precision's really fantastic. The hip fire is really awesome. One thing that I would like a side note that I would mention is that in a lot of these fights, one thing that I forget is that Bungie normally really likes the mechanic of hip firing, right? Using these sort of,
Mhm.
hip firing your weapons and like leaning into your crosshair. that's something that this gun did really relatively well. Now there it isn't perfect, right? Because it is an extraction shooter, so they made it kind of you know go a little crazy at times. But the hip firing is a lot of fun with this gun. But the other gun that I wanted to say was the M77 assault rifle, due to
If
the
I had
flip
one,
scope that it has.
yeah.
If I
Oh, it
had
was cool.
one,
Yeah.
every time I used that gun though, it was like an omen. That and that double barrel shotty. Anytime I had it, I was dead the next second. So I never got that chance to freaking just really mow them down.
The M77 was the first gun I found in a match, and I used it game one. And I was like, "Oh, this thing's so much better than the other one," and then I never used it until like a week later, and I was like, oh, "I should break this out again."
Yeah.
And that thing was so good. It
Yeah.
was great,
And I
actually.
ended up getting it like towards the end, and I held that thing. You know what I mean? I never used it, and then the playtest was over. So it
Yep,
was.
that's why you just got to use
I
it.
learned my lesson.
Yeah, I mean,
um,
there's a lot of
yeah,
good guns. I think a lot of the guns are pretty good. It's almost easier to say which guns are bad, which is like the overrun, the pistol, the energy pistol, energy SMG are bad, and then the rest of them are like they were good as from what we played. You know what I mean? Obviously, we didn't play with everything, but everything in the alpha was pretty solid. Um, my favorite weapon in the game, though, probably the shotgun,
yeah,
just because I like being super aggro. I like the damage it puts out. I don't think I don't think the double barrel one shot anybody. I don't think it could one shot. It definitely two tapped, and that was good enough for
yeah.
me. Um, Following that up, if it was going to be like something that like is a normal AR SMG style weapon, doesn't take MIPS ammo. Ooh, it might have been the Burt. The Burt was crazy.
Bird,
The 5 round
Bird
burst
is
SMG. It was pretty good.
yes. That gun is cracked,
Yeah,
as they say.
it was
I
turning people
love
to
that gun
mush.
so much. It was, if you think about it, it's like a mini version of the eight what's it, 833 volley, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the battle
It's an
rifle. Yeah,
SMG
it's
volley
kind
gun.
of
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's so if you want to run double burst, which I don't know why you would, but I mean it might work. That
I would
thing
like to
is
try
beautiful.
the burst rifle. I don't think I actually really got to use it when I played.
Yeah,
I really want to try
there's
it. People love it. So
yeah. It's again, you missed out. It's kind of, we flip flopped, right? You
yeah.
had the M77 and I had the freaking volley. One thing I will say too is like my favorite SMG. Obviously, it's one of those where it's like my favorite AR. It's not freaking on the list right now, but I can at least say you have seen it in some short videos and the trailers, and it kind of has like this unique purple and pink pattern at the top is the most I can explain to you. I hope you can find it, but it is an awesome SMG. It was almost like a pretty much an AR, like how like beautiful that thing shot and steady, and the SMGs are really good in this particular game.
Yeah. I think
There's
that was the general
multiple.
consensus. All of the guns felt good, which is what we kind of expected from Bungie, right? That they would feel good. I think the balancing was a little iffy at Alpha.
Yeah,
Time to kills changed a lot, so they're probably all better now. Um,
yeah,
but the SMGs and the assault rifles were really good. The twin tap and the hardline precision rifles I didn't really care for, but the repeater was absolutely disgusting in the alpha. So was the
yeah.
Magnum. The Magnum was also disgusting. Heavy ammo stuff
Marathon
went really
Intel
hard.
was going crazy with that thing, the
Yeah.
repeater.
Oh my god, it was so good. All of the heavy ammo stuff was really good in the alpha. Um,
Yeah.
Light ammo was a bit of a mixed bag, but I think it's just because they made all the really garbage stuff light ammo for some reason. Because it wasn't like light ammo was
Yeah.
easier to get. I just think they just
Well,
balanced it that
actually,
way at the start.
the bird's a light ammo.
Yeah, the
You know
Burt's
what I
really
mean?
good, but we couldn't
Yeah.
buy the Burt. The things we could buy were the Overrun
Yeah.
and the CE sidearm, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
these suck. Actually, I'll go knife. It'll be fine. Trust me.
Yeah. You're
Um,
like, they suck major eggs.
yeah. So that's how I feel about the weapons right now. Which, if we want to cut it off there, it's
Yep.
probably a good thing because we can keep going because there's more stuff. Um,
Yes, yes. We keep it moving.
which
Probably. Oh, I could get
you
into
should
this
start off
next
with
one.
this one.
Lore. Let
Yes.
me tell you the lore of the game. This is something that I'm very excited for them to just unveil. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
unveil it. Okay. I'm slapping all of you too. No, I'm just kidding. Unveiling that particular freaking the lore is going to be awesome. Here's the thing: is like there's some things that we can also depict that we've seen in the trailers that we haven't seen before. So that I'm really excited for, which I'll touch on in just a second. But from what we did get, like within the codexes, within the that you unlock, which is like in the lore in the universe. I don't know if we could say how we unlock it, but it's
Just
not gonna
it's
like
stuff. Just doing things,
yeah stuff and
challenges,
things
like
and other
challenges.
things and
Because but they've talked about it being like challenges that you do, and then you'll
yeah
get
yeah
cosmetics and lore rewards. So
yeah, yeah. And so it's in they position it too so it's easy to find and it goes really in depth. This is something that I feel like especially for an extraction shooter you don't really see is how like deep and they do put the lore in your face and it feels like Destiny but not like Destiny in the way that I mean I guess I could say this too
they
because they
deliver it kind
release
of
clips.
similarly. Yeah.
Yeah, they deliver it similarly, but there's the lore that is straight up just audio, like almost like that audio play that me and Jake created with the Born
Hmm.
on Board series. Go check it out on his YouTube channel. Anyway, but it's very similar to that, and it like drags you in because yeah, okay, it's not like visual, but the you're listening to it, it's very much alive, right? It's that audio play that's going, and it's spectacular. And then there's the lore pieces that are like Destiny, where it's just a lot of red lore, which is for those red lore. If you guys don't want to read it yourselves, I'm going to be creating a mini series on my YouTube
Ooh,
channel.
the lore of
I guess I'll,
marathon.
I'll
Let's
say it, but
go.
yeah, I'll be since as a voice actor that I am, I'm going to be going through and reading all those lore tabs for you guys. So that way, if you don't want to sit there and read it and you want something playing in the background and learning about the marathon universe, it's going to be great. But aside from that, now we could talk about that trailer that I was sort of mentioning earlier.
Hmm.
Is we saw in the most recent trailer that they were showing the humans, like it was almost like this cutscene that I've never seen it before. We haven't seen it
Hmm.
before, and so the fact that like they were showing this high level, high produced cutscene tells me that we might have the ability to have cutscenes for also these lores that we get. Maybe it's a couple of missions in that we do, like main missions, or
I mean, it could
maybe
be
it's
the
the
opening.
secret that we have to unlock.
You know.
It could be similar to Destiny, where the first out of the world's first who completes the raid unlocks a
Hmm.
video for everybody. It could be the same thing.
I
So
mean,
I don't
I
know how
would
they're
really
going to
hope we
implement it.
get like a good number of cutscenes. I'd like
Yeah,
a good intro cutscene. Some, I mean, we know we get the ones when we talk to the vendors and we level up the vendors. But I would like to see those actual cutscenes at certain points in a codex, maybe when you do certain
yeah,
challenges. Maybe you hit up a terminal on Outpost and it's got a log from
yeah,
one of the AIs from the colony that's got like a
yeah.
VOD, and that'd be
That's
cool.
one thing that you and I, at least we can, I guess, kind of confirm it. We haven't seen is are there going to be terminals?
People have spotted
Yeah,
terminals in Peanuts gameplay. I don't know if you can interact with them, but they
yeah.
found terminals that are literally the Marathon One terminals with the squares
No way.
flipped the other way, but same logo. So they've spotted them. We don't. I don't know if you can
That's
interact with
pretty
them.
amazing.
It might just be
I
scene
hope so.
dressing, but
Yeah, that would be spectacular. So that's something that we have to look forward to
oh
that
yeah,
not really very many extraction shooters do. I mean, listen, Tarkov does have its lore, and I hear that it's still a pretty good story when you really get into it, but it's so like embedded and it's so like it's like you have to do it yourself, right? Like you have to do the research, you have to read, right? In Marathon, it's they just feed it to you. Again, like there are those sections where okay, I have to go through the codex and I gotta read it and I gotta marathon. They put it in your face, and then they even add the sections of certain codexes where I don't have to sort of read all this. I could just sit back and let my ears, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, enjoy,
Yeah.
hear the sweet nothings from marathon, right? And I think that's going to be really awesome for people to experience, and I can't wait for them to see it.
And honestly, I really, not everybody knows the original Marathon trilogy lore, but for those of you who do, I want to see more about the compiler that's on the ship. I want to hear more about the AIs that were on the ship. Obviously, Tycho and Durandal are gone, but what's up with Layla or Leela, whatever her name was? I think it was Layla. Um,
Yeah.
what up with the colony AIs? What's up with the working Cackentur? The boys. So a lot of questions that the Marathon universe talked about in the original trilogy that are now open to be explored. And I'm excited to possibly explore those themes and theories. And for people who have never experienced, the Marathon trilogy through Mandalore Gaming's YouTube series, what Marathon lore is.
Yeah, it's spectacular. Also, Hidden Xperia did like a really great lore thing.
Yeah,
I
he
actually
did the one
have
recently too, and Jake has
that
some.
just like that just had me think. I have a comprehensive playlist on Justin Guerrero voiceover that has all the Marathon 1, 2, and 3 lore videos connected to it for explainers. It also has it has what Jake was covering from the ARG, all the info that we have there. Some really important tidbits
So
that
you got the God
we're talking.
playlist.
Yeah, I got the God playlist. Get in there. I even threw in the fun stuff where Bond's video where it's covering the AI, as well as Jake's and I's Born on Board series. That one's just for fun, but that is in a playlist on my Justin Girl voiceover YouTube
See,
channel.
banger.
So if you check that out, it's got the plug for them. Again, it's hidden Xperia's video. Again, he's saying Mandalore is pretty good. Check
Yeah,
him out,
Mandalore,
but it's
Mandalore was
all
good.
mainly hidden and Jake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Hidden, but sometimes he's got too much energy for me. He gets
Yeah.
really excited, and
Yeah.
I'm like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I need something to go to sleep to. I can't listen to you, buddy. I'm sorry. Um,
Oh man, that's all I lived on for like 2 years.
but yeah, I mean, so much deep stuff to uncover to build into, and then obviously they're gonna have all new stuff that we don't know anything about. That they want to talk about the themes they want to do as a new game, right? But yeah, a lot of lore to dive through, to learn, hopefully to experience is what I want. That's like the thing that
Yeah.
I think the game can do to be unique, and I would like to see them capitalize on that. We'll talk about builds. We want to go into build
Yes.
crafting.
Yes.
We
Build
lightly talked
time.
about cores. I recently did the core stats and implant video, um, where I talked about how the system worked. But TLDR, I guess, um, every runner shell has a stat package. There's stats in the game that range from melee damage to stamina capacity to movement speed, self healing speed, like passive, because the game does have passive healing. Don't forget, you can passively heal in this game. Uh, Finisher siphon, etc., 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 etc. Each shell is unique in what its spread starts as. You can upgrade it by upgrading vendors and getting vendor upgrades. And those are permanent for the rest of the season. Then there's cores, which are kind of like aspects in Destiny. They're very big build defining pieces. Some class agnostic, some class specific. And then there's implants, which are all class agnostic. Very big stat package shifts, positive and negative benefits depending on the implant. And then some of them will have a passive effect, and some of them will have set passive effects as well. So most of them will have a random benefit added on. And what I learned recently, Justin, I don't know if you know this, that like almost every iteration of an implant that you find after like green rarity is semi-random. So like the regen V1, I think is what it was called.
Mhm.
It had like plus 20 self repair speed. And then the green version had plus 30 self repair speed and plus 10 ping duration. And another one had the self repair speed with plus 5 tactical recovery. And another one had
Wow.
something else instead. So it's semi random. And then
Wow.
like blues and purples have some set effects where like bionic leg upgrades has
Yeah.
guaranteed reduced impact or reduced fall damage as like a benefit. All come with that, and then it randomizes a second benefit that's like always random for like leg implants or something. So I don't know how it's exactly categorized or what they all are, but it goes in like a tree of class, cores, implants, and that's how you customize your character for builds.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
a lot
That's
of
good. That's
tweaking.
yeah. No, there's a lot. It's really in depth. A lot more in depth that
Hmm.
I think that people really were considering. And that really adds that layer of, okay, I'm going in, I'm looting, and maybe you're just gonna do loot runs that are specifically geared towards, okay, it's not just gear with weapons, it's not just gear with equipment, it's not just gear with stems. I want to find the stats, right? The
Hmm.
best sort of, maybe those green cores that are going to build towards my stats for a recon or for a locus. And how is that going to help me and help this build or my glitch build with like maybe the speed or even now triage, I feel like we forget about him sometimes, but like even what are those cores that are building towards him. And it's going to be important to do those runs where you're
Yeah,
building for that equipment, especially like if you're, let's say we're gearing towards going to cold storage or outpost, like
or
you
ranked.
have certain, yeah, or ranked, especially ranked. Like ranked, you're gonna have to look for those perfect build crafting parts, especially when you know I'm really great with this shell or that shell,
Hmm.
and you're like, okay, I need to gear my loadout for this. So it's more than just sort of I pick up, I go, I pick up, I go, which can get you by. But if you really want the best out of your build,
You got
you're
to go
gonna
on
look
core
for those
runs. You got
cores.
to go on implant
Yeah,
runs. Yeah.
yeah.
And side note, while we're talking about like farming cores, um, did you guys know that the containers in Marathon have preferred loot spawns? For example,
Hmm.
there are specific boxes called core storage boxes that spawn on walls, kind of where you'd keep like a medical kit, you know? There are medical stations that will almost guaranteed have meds, and there are core stations that will almost guaranteed have cores, at least one or two. I think there's also implant places, and the bioprinters typically have material and printed things for your shell.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there are themed containers that have higher loot spawns, and then they can also
yeah,
spawn just like in anything with a lower chance, right? But
yeah.
and
Even
still for people.
even weapon crates, right?
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
weapon
So,
lock boxes or lockers. I think they're lockers.
lockers.
The
Yeah.
weapon lockers are really good if you're trying to get a stash of weapons. Load in with like Rook or Solo
Yeah.
with no items, and just hit weapon lockers and just grab them and try and get out. So
Most
sorry,
definitely.
I didn't mean to sidetrack you there, but just I thought it'd be
No,
cool to
no, it's
mention that
fine.
you can target farm cores
Yeah.
or implants and stuff like that.
Yeah, and a lot of that is repetition, right? The more you play, the more you stay. Okay, the more you play, the more you stay. TM. Okay, but um, so like the more repetition that you put into the game, you're gonna learn a lot of the loot spots. Very similar again, and this is like one thing that I want to point out is like great building for extraction shooters. These are like sort of how would you say, cycles that I want, right? Like I
Hmm.
want these, or gameplay loops. Is like I want as an extraction shooter to have a reason to loot
Hmm.
and a reason to go back in. What am I getting? Why am I getting this? And how
Right.
does it help? And the fact that, and like I want to be able to keep going to these maps and keep learning. And the fact that like I'm gonna learn where these loot spots are, it's gonna be awesome. And you're gonna be able to learn how to approach these situations. So a lot of times, probably in the beginning, a lot of these extraction like areas are going to feel very random when you're moving around the map. But then it's going to get to a point where you're going to be able to predict that I know that players are going to go here because they're going to be looting this.
Hmm.
And you kind of know what to expect based on that repetition. And that's what makes great design for this extraction shooter.
Yeah.
One of the things that like we have kind of a leg up because I got to play a lot of freaking marathon, and now I know where certain loot spots are, and I know how to approach certain situations.
Hmm.
Where I'm like, okay, I know people are going to be looking at weapon lockers in this particular area. I'll see you there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so now I'm approaching it, and me and my squad we're going a lot slower because we know there's going to be potential for people here,
You can be a
rather
lot
than
more
I think
deliberate.
there's yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
And I
exactly,
think also like just having the knowledge of where questing is pretty big for the start. A lot of people are going to be going to do those early quests. I mean, they were shown in the alpha, right? Going to North Station and South Station to scan in the towers, going to Overflow to loot the little cute box that's in there, the computer, right? You know, people are
yeah,
going to be going to these places in droves the first couple days, especially
yeah,
when people are making the videos, they're getting into it, they're watching the tutorials. That's the first stuff people are going to be watching is how to do those early
yeah,
quests. And then you're going to
yeah.
be looking at the early upgrades. People are going to be looking for, spark leaves really early. Or you're going to see people looking for hard drives. And because those items consistently spawn in certain locations where you can check on the map and see what spawns in what area, people are going to gravitate towards those areas as they learn that. The official 1.0 is probably going to be the most confusing time where most people don't know what's going on. But once you get to season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, season 25, when people know wipe is coming, I'm going to get ahead. I'm going to have the best opening week of of a wipe in my career, you know? I'm going to get to
Yeah,
max vendor so fast. And that's what people are like optimizing, speed running. Uh, People will be there predictably for the first couple weeks. And it's a skill to learn what other people are
yeah,
thinking, you know?
yeah. And so kind of like I guess transitioning, right? We sort of touching on the build crafting and the skill set that it's going to take to learn. And it
Hmm.
might actually even be really great at some point for us to cover as a topic. Our certain love spots, right? Where we go, where we're
Yeah.
going and we're looting. I think would be really cool, and what we think of the maps probably when
Yeah,
the
in the
test
network
comes
test,
out.
we're gonna
Yeah,
do one right at the end. Probably like it's like the Sunday before
yeah,
the end of it. I want to do a knock rate in the middle of the
yeah,
test. So
yeah. So
definitely
we'll
will.
we'll do a nice one, and we'll talk to you guys all about this stuff, and we'll be able to get your feedback too, because
Yeah,
it's going to
because you
be
guys can also
really
be playing
cool.
at the time.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be passing off a lot of questions to you guys as well. Which kind of reminds me of just like the community, right? And the community aspect of the game. One of the things that we just learned, which we didn't get to test,
No.
was the fact that like when there's down players, before I was always questioning how are you going to get these players up? Like, they talk about, I mean, back in the day when the first initial Vidoc came out, they were discussing, oh, well, if there's an enemy player, I down them and then I res them. But then we never saw that mechanic in any of the playtests that we had. But now we know how they're implementing it.
Mhm.
And it's almost similar to, I will say, like kind of like how Arc Raiders has their defib system, except it's not you healing that player, it's the self res. You can drop a self res to these players and they can loot it up. They could just pick it up,
Just
almost
so
like
interesting.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can now res themselves. So like for example, when you find those self reses and you got a ton stacked up because you're afraid you're gonna die, I would suggest maybe carrying an extra one to make a friend and
Hmm.
Drop the self res for
And if you're
him.
playing solo, it'll be so much more interesting to negotiate with people if you have self
Yeah,
reses to give out.
yeah,
I really like that they're taking that out of Ark's book. There's a lot of things
yeah,
where people are like, oh, they got this from Ark, and it's like, bro, this was in the alpha way before Ark
yeah,
came out. Okay, the self or the defib in each other basically with self revives, I think was taken a bit more out of Ark because Ark was so big in that field of doing that.
yeah,
That I think it's a great thing to pick up. Of all the things that they could look at Ark and go, we should put that in the game. This is it. Um,
yeah,
it solves the issue of, to some degree, of if you bring a stack of defibs in Arc and you go down, nobody and the other guy doesn't have any defibs to use on you. You just die, right? The self revive being the thing that you use to do this means that you can bring a stack of 3 self reses to self revive yourself 3 times, and also give it to somebody else to res them. So there's never a situation where you brought in the self reses or the defibs and you can't be picked up unless
yeah,
somebody downs you and then runs away laughing. But then you can
yeah,
res yourself now, right? And if you give it to
yeah,
somebody else, letting them res themselves in front of you, um, doesn't take you out of the fight to do it too. So you can defend them while they self res, which is
yeah.
I think interesting. I don't know. I mean,
I
defibbing in
agree
Arc
with
is
you.
really fast. Self res is
Yeah,
super slow in this game, but the opportunity
yeah.
of this, yes, definitely something that I wanted
I
from Arc.
I'm really excited, and I agree with you. Normally, listen, you saw me throwing hands last time. You know, I was putting the dukes up. Okay, because I did not want to have everybody thinking that Ark was the all creator of all extraction
Extraction
shooters.
shooters in
That
general,
being
yeah.
said, they did definitely pull this from their playbook, and I'm glad they did. Right, there's taking certain ideas that are really important, and that's one of those that just sort of builds that community. And you had mentioned that it would be really cool now that we know we can loot up self reses. That if we could just we're knocked and we're just
Yeah, what if you
rummaging
can
through,
still
bro,
loot
like a
and
dead
you're just like
guy's.
looking for self reses?
Yeah,
You were the last guy standing in a team fight and a bot downs you and you're just desperately looking through some
yeah.
guy's box for his self res. I think that'd be funny.
Just like crawling over like everybody's corpse.
It would be so
Here's the
goofy.
scary thing though, is that you're gonna be also being chased by those bots that are just trying to suck you.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
you will.
mean?
But what if somebody just, kills it or gets distracted in the middle of a fight? I don't know. There's a million
Yeah,
ways that you could survive long enough to find one. Um,
I'm
but
excited.
that being something that could happen would be 10 out of 10. The option is more
And
appealing
can
than
you
it actually
start the
being consistent.
extract? You know, can
I
you
would
start
like
the
you.
extract like Arg?
I do like that you can do that in Arc. If
Yeah,
I feel like it'd be much more rare in Marathon than it is in Arc.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I would like that to be an option. You can definitely extract while
yeah,
down. That's always been a thing. If you were in the extract when
yeah,
it pops off, you get beamed up. So
yeah.
I would like to see you be able
I'm
to hit it.
excited. I'm very excited. Which kind of like
Side
leads
note:
into yeah,
one
yeah.
one more
Go
thing
ahead.
I want to talk about before we get to the next thing here is the safe pocket not being a thing. It's a secure container. They didn't officially
Yes.
confirm no secure container. They may consider it later on. Um, Maybe season 3, season 4, we might see one. Um, what are your thoughts on no secure container slash safe pocket?
I enjoy the layer of safety to a degree, right? I like to feel like I can sleep at night. If I have something that is really important.
I can at
That
least get a
being
thousand
said,
dollar thing out, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, right. I can keep sort of building out my loadout.
hmm
you know, which is awesome. But that being said, I really also don't mind having to, how would you say, I really don't mind having to just grind and have that level of
Having to
fear
face
where
the
I can,
challenge.
yeah, I could face a challenge. Trust me, I think in the long run and give me a couple runs where I have something that is really valuable that I died, I'm pretty sure I might change my mind. That being said, as of right now, and from all the hours I've played, like the probably close to hundreds of hours that I played, I would say that like I enjoyed not having it. I liked it. I felt afraid for my life, and it added to that intensity, and that nervousness feeling when you're going through the game. And yeah, YOLO.
Yeah. I think it's a very complicated equation to some degree, right? Um Not having it at all creates tension, but also just means that you're not really worried. You know, whatever you bring in, you're going to lose if you die. That's it. Period. Right.
Yeah.
There's not a what if I put it in the secure container? What if I hot swap it out of the container back into the container? That's what people are doing with like zip lines in Arc or not the zip gun, right? Um, so you remove that. You either have to risk it or don't bring it at all. Um, and I think in the long term, I think we will eventually see a safe pocket just because it is a staple for a reason. I think that there is a way to consistently progress, consistently go in at your worst and be able to eventually build a kit consistently. However, I do want to see if the system they have in place works, which is the data cards. For those of you who don't know what the data cards are, in Marathon, there are basically credit cards laying around, and you can pick them up and scan them, like just on pickup. It automatically consumes them and gives you whatever money amount the card is worth to your entire team instantly in your stash. So you don't get to go around and shove the purple $4,000 boss drop into your safe container. But every run you go into, as Rook, as a character, naked, fully kitted, you're going to be finding cards laying around. I think bigger cards drop off of bosses or late game areas. There definitely been bosses that have dropped like purple cards in the alpha, at least, if not more now, right? Whenever you pick them up, you are grabbing it. It does not take up an inventory slot. You don't need to put it in a secure container, but you guaranteed make 25, 50, 200. I think I saw like 1,000 or 2,000 one. I don't think I saw, maybe there was a 5,000 once, but maybe not. Um, but it's guaranteed money. You get the money just off rip. So there is a way to farm money without needing to survive at all. 0% survival rate, you can still make money. It just doesn't involve using the safety kit, and it's not an inventory juggling thing. It is just you can earn money by playing the game guaranteed. And I think when you look at it in terms of you can't use it to progress quests the way you can in Ark and Tarkov, but you can use it to build kits as long as you have the unlocks to buy those things. It's a little iffy. I could see it working. I could see people liking it. I could see people hating it over time and Bungie caving in and giving us a safe pocket in like 3 seasons. Because I like safe pockets conceptually. Um, I agree the game is it's almost less stressful without it because I don't feel like I have to optimize what's in my safe pocket. I just pick up good stuff, and if it's bad, if it's bad, I regret it. If I die, I lose it. That's it. There's not the
Yeah.
what if I put this in there? What if I didn't? What if I switch them?
Yeah.
So I like that it's a unique idea, unique way to try it. I don't know if it's gonna work. I blabbed on that for too long. I just want to talk about those
No,
cards.
no, I think it's important to have a different take, right? I was curious on your take regardless, right? Because
Hmm.
even then, you still played extraction shooters longer than I
Yeah,
did, and so I mean, I'm happy that you're able to, I guess, break it down in that way, right?
yeah. I
In
think a
your
lot of
thought
people look over
process.
the data cards as like a
Yeah,
a thing mechanic.
yeah, and I think that you're right. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of like I'm thinking of the data cards, and you find them a lot. And I think you touched on this as well as like the perks, right? There's a perk where you can increase the amount
Yeah,
of credits you're getting
that was one of the
from
big
all
ones we
your
were
data
chasing
cards.
in
Yeah.
the alpha. Was, oh, you can double the value of the cards. I was like, oh, that's just free
Yeah.
money. Get that.
Yeah. I know also what faction I'll be starting off with first too when the game comes out.
Yeah, mine's Arachne.
But yeah. Oh, wait, yours is Arachne? Okay, mine would be Cyber Acme. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, Syac upgrades are probably the
Yeah.
most important, but the one that I
Yeah.
want to be a part of the most, I think, is Arachne, because Arachne's the death cult.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for me it's all Cyber Acme because it's just looting, right? I want to be a
Yeah,
loot goblin too, just
I mean,
grabbing
bigger stash
everything up.
space, bigger
Yep.
backpacks to buy. They're
Faster
kind of,
looting,
yeah, it's pretty
better
big,
data cards. By that point, it's like everything else, at least I'll be making tons of money,
right?
having tons of space for
You'll be
me to
rich when I'm sitting there with. I can buy shotguns, but I'm poor.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna be really cool.
This is where I'd
But
keep
yeah,
my
no,
shotgun credits if I had any.
I think in terms of like a stash right now, I'm okay. I'm sure maybe at some point, and I'm happy that Bungie's at least open to the idea and
Hmm.
not sort of closing it off for people. So yeah, but I think the design right now, I'm having a blast with it, and
Yeah.
I generally don't have a huge complaint because of that. And I'm surprised because, like, if a game like Delta Force didn't have safe containers, or maybe even uh, maybe even arc raiders, I think I would be kind of upset. But with Marathon and its unique style, I feel like it fits relatively well. I don't know why, but in my brain, it makes sense in terms of its how they developed it. Um, I think we can lead into our
Yeah.
last two here before we we hit time.
And one of these is much more detailed and in depth than the other. Um,
Yeah,
so let's actually just let's do the last one first before the second to last
yeah,
one,
I
which
agree.
is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
there are certain keys we learned that cannot be
yeah.
taken out of the map. So a lot of keys, you play Ark, you play Tarkov, you get a key, you take it out, and when you're ready to use it, you bring it in to go open the door for the thing. Some keys in Marathon apparently cannot be taken out. You paid more attention to this than I did, so you should probably take the
Yeah.
lead on this, how this actually functions.
Yeah, so there are like these major keys, I'm just gonna call them, right? Where they are able to be extracted out, but there are limited time keys for certain doors, certain lock boxes that they have, certain chests, so to speak, where you cannot exfil with those. They're just instantaneously. You got to use that within that match. If not, you cannot take it out with you. And I think that's really important because some of these cards you can find pretty easily. Again, lockbox key cards, you can find them anywhere.
Hmm.
And it would suck that like if I could just hoard these and then just keep hitting the RNG where I'm just bringing in a ton of these keys and I get it guaranteed. Or some of these doors where it's not like extravagant loot, but it's pretty decent loot. That if I was able to take that key card and now I have a guaranteed loot spot every time where I'm going to get pretty average loot, I think is something that it's necessary. I feel like, right? And here's another thing that I don't really hate the fact that like they limited certain key cards inventory management that nobody thinks about. I don't want that just filled with aligned with a ton of key cards that lead to okay loot spots.
Yeah,
I rather you just take those off my plate. I don't have to worry about it. Get it out of here. Um, so I don't necessarily hate that idea of their implementation of it. And those special key cards that are really awesome, which I think maybe even only give you one time use, it's worth sort of just, yeah, okay, I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to save it for a rainy day,
hmm,
or I'm going to wait till my boys are on, and we're all going to go on a particular, or we're going to be more beefed out. Because I remember there was
that's
a
what we
key
did with
card in the,
Marathon or
yeah,
with Intel. You
in the
you
alpha.
you him and
Yeah.
I, yeah. So
Yeah,
I think that was
maybe
definitely
they'll
one time
implement some
use, but I wonder if they'll
Mm,
change that. I mean, Arc does it
yeah.
too. I don't know. Kind of weird for them to be one time use to me. I prefer like 5 times maybe
Yeah,
because
I think a
RNG.
multi-use would be cool because
Yeah,
then too, it also gives you on top of RNG, but also gives that layer of like, okay, well now I want to get this key out, right?
yeah,
And as opposed to like I used it, well, I tried. It's like no, now I have the intensity that I got all this juicy loot, but also it's like okay, well I also want to take this key with me
right.
and I don't want to drop it and lose it, and because I'm trying to fit all this loot, and so I I do also enjoy that level of keys. So hopefully they bring that or continue to work on that. I
Yeah,
guess.
I think also just really quick the main place you saw this mechanic was Outpost, right?
Yes, in
Um,
terms of like
like the keys being not extracted.
yeah
I feel like part of that kind of makes sense lore wise for Outpost because it's an active UESC facility, so that they're if you steal a key, they'll change the password probably. It's not
yeah
abandoned.
yeah
And two,
that is cool.
it does still maintain things like the pinwheel and other locations being high loot spot areas that people can't load into and
Yeah
instantly rush. It adds a little bit
yeah
of a delay on there at least. So I see it being interesting from that perspective. So I like
yeah
the mechanic. Um,
yeah I agree.
and I guess it would count as our next thing as well, which is an in-game event. In-game events are pretty much all over the maps in Marathon. In the alpha, they were very clearly labeled all over the place. From the footage that we've seen of Peanut playing and other stuff where they show the maps, it doesn't seem like it's all on the map at once. But you can still see them, and they do seem like they're happening. We've seen the incursions from the start, which is when the giant rectangle in the sky goes blah,
Yes,
and lasers come
that's
down.
so cool.
When we played, that was blue. Now it's reddish, purplish color.
Yeah
Um, there was like waves of enemies to fight, a couple bosses that would spawn, and then you got like, good loot out of a box there, right? They may be changing that. I don't know if it's changed at all in terms of the composition, but the idea I feel like will probably always be the same, which is like the UESC are doing something, go mess with it and get their stuff. Um, I think the pinwheel counts as that because the pinwheel on Outpost is kind of like a raid on the UESC facility, which is kind of just like a big incursion event. Um, Other things in certain compounds are the wall puzzles, like the panel puzzles, where you scan a panel and it gives you a code, and you got to find a second panel that matches the one that you got, and that calls in a drop ship somewhere on the map. Other players can go and steal it from you, but you have to go over there and fight whatever drops the drop. There's the little space pod platform. You do a little beep boop 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 boop, and a little spaceship comes down from space, and it goes, "Here's 4 boxes," and then it flies away, and it burns you, and it does damage. So don't stand too close to it because it'll fry you. We all learned
yeah
slowly, individually, one at a time. Uh, there's the boss event that somebody was talking about earlier. I call it the Thunderdome. You need to have a hardware kit, like the buffs that we were talking about earlier. You have to have one of those to get inside and not die. And you have to fight a boss inside a dome that does poison damage constantly. That one
yeah
sucked. I hated that one. Uh,
yeah
Not because it was actually bad, but because I never brought those. I didn't bring the
I'm sure
med
too. There's
or the
gonna be
pack
like
kits.
contracts that are gonna
Oh
force
yeah,
us to push those events.
100%. Um, is there one I'm missing? There probably is. Um,
Um,
I mean,
I-
listen, maybe I've seen more, but I think those are the ones that we played in the alpha. Um,
yeah, there's the supply one where you like pull the supply cord and then all those enemies spawn.
yeah.
Did you mention that?
No, that one's kind of different. Yeah, it's similar-ish to the incursion, but it's
Yeah,
like somewhere else in the field. It's not denoted the same way. But it counts as like an in-game event. So there's all these things that are going on around the map that you can partake in to get high-value loot items. And typically the things from the events are red or purple, and those are usually shared with your team when you extract. So one of you gets to carry it, but you all will get duplicated the money for that. And you typically see high level enemies, high level shields, and stuff like that that you can take. I think was typically our reward, and I guess it
Yeah.
counts as the kind of unifying contract for your team and things for people to fight you over. Similar to how people will like fight over killing a leaper or a bastion on a map. Um, I think players will eventually be fighting over who's going to be killing the incursion, who's going to be getting the boss
Yeah.
for the synchronizers or whatever they drop.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what they are. Do you have thoughts on them? Any takes?
Yeah, I
Hot
mean, I
takes?
got like a couple of, I guess, a couple of stories. One of them was with that supply thing that you
Hmm.
pull. I've gotten killed by that a lot of times, and not because I was expecting to fight. Mainly because I would be playing with a random, and it would be me and my buddy Eugene, and we're going through, and one dude will just pull the thing out of nowhere, you know, and now all these AI spawn when he knows we heard like footsteps like 2 seconds ago from another player, and now we're fighting, getting shot in the back and getting insta killed when we have a team in front of us. Like, dude, it happened countless times where we had people that just would. I think of like it's like a huge supply crate, like on one of those big AC-130s, and you just pull the
Yeah,
parachute.
yeah. Pull the ripcord off or
That's
something.
what it
Yeah.
feels like. The homie's just pulling the cord, and he's just getting us all murked every
Look,
time.
bro,
It was
bro
like,
saw press E to
oh.
interact and said, "Yeah, duh."
There was
I
a
would
time
not.
the guy got knocked from it, and I left him. We left him. We did not care. No, I don't feel bad. I was just like, dude, listen, you should know better, and I'm not gonna die because of you. Like, we were already low on supplies. Homie pulls the cord. He died. I was like, all right. It was like the fifth or sixth
Gotta
time
cut your
that
losses
day,
and
and
get out of there.
I'm like, this guy's not worth it. He's just a random at this point. I'm sorry. You're just being stuck there.
Oh my
Um,
god, there was sometimes I think so on perimeter there is like a way to walk from North Station, North Station
yeah,
to the hauler.
yeah,
There was one time we were playing and one of those boss AoE Thunderdome spawned right in between the two zones and it's like, bro, I have to get the hauler. Can I walk around this? And it was like, no.
yep,
Gotta go through it.
yep,
Take the poison damage. It's like, ah. But they're randomly
yeah,
spawning. So like the events
yeah,
on the map are random. Um,
yeah,
from the way it looks like you're not going to see them before you get to them, or unless maybe someone starts them, that'll
yeah,
show up on the map now. But it should drive people together. Most of the time, I felt like most compounds had something to do every game.
yeah,
Um, so definitely little money making things to do, little side activities and things to force you to fight people is like their main
yeah,
goal. But I like them.
yeah.
I hope
I did too.
eventually, season over season, we see new iterations on it, new rewards for them, new ideas, reworks.
Yeah,
So definitely a good
I
system.
agree. I agree, and I can't wait. There's a lot of. I think I'll probably save some of the future thoughts of like where the game could go and all that stuff for like a later episode.
Yeah.
But I think that would be really cool to talk about also like the future of where we see marathon going and whatnot. But there's a lot of events that I could imagine in my head that is just gonna accentuate season by season
Yeah,
this
give me a
this
big tick
intensity of
nest,
each map. Oh my
giant
gosh,
tick horde.
yeah. That just like rushes you. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. This game is going to be spectacular. I think though we hit our 2 hour mark that we really want to went over a bit. But so we should probably wrap things up. I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
start wrapping things and maybe even set up when our next episode is so that way
Hmm.
they can know what to plan for.
Yeah, so for everybody who is still here or ends up watching us on YouTube, you can still follow Justin at Justin Guerrero voiceover for
Yep,
VO.
Justin
I
Guerrero
know we
voiceover.
linked it
Justin
earlier.
Guerrero VO.
I'm gonna I'm
We'll
gonna
probably have in the description of YouTube as well,
yeah, I'm gonna paste it in
for
chat
you
so it pops
guys.
up on the stream again. Hopefully. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't put the. I'm dumb. I forgot to put the text chat on the top of the screen on one side. So chat's not on the screen on the VOD. I just typed it in Twitch chat again. But it is Justin Guerrero VO
Yeah.
uh, at on YouTube.
Yes. Yes, he's
Follow
on
him.
there.
Obviously, we're gonna be doing another episode. Hopefully, the Sunday of the network test, which should
Yes.
be the
I agree.
first.
So yeah.
It'll be the 1st of March. I think we're gonna do the evening probably.
First or 29th, I think. Maybe even 29th.
Mm,
Is it? I'm checking the
there is no
calendar.
29th. It's February. What are you talking
Oh yeah.
about?
I'm an
it's,
idiot.
it's it's
What
it's
are
the
you
first
gonna
of March.
do?
So I don't know exactly what time of day yet. We'll probably do a little
Yeah.
update about it. I mean, I'm gonna be live pretty much. Not all day Thursday. I'm working Thursday, Friday. I'm not taking off for the test. I am taking off for
Yeah.
full launch.
Same.
But I think
Same.
like most of the day Thursday, most of the day Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, we'll probably be streaming all the time.
Yeah.
So we'll probably take some time out of the afternoon, evening, get together,
Yeah.
chat about everything that's happened in the network test. Reception, player numbers are classics of metrics to talk about because it's going to be public and that's exciting. Um,
Yeah.
so I hope to see all of you playing the game, joining, and then telling us, what you think about it, what you want to see improved. We'll probably have Q&A for a lot of chat if chat's busy.
Yes.
We'll do a lot of interactions for that one. Um, but as for us, you're gonna catch us again soon. We're gonna play together too on Twitch on stream. Um, I think that's everything that we had to talk about for today. So thank you all very
Yeah.
much for joining us. We were pretty active earlier, and I know none of you can see chat. Now that I looked over and realized the new scene I made doesn't have chat on screen. But thank you all for joining, anyways. Everybody for following. Definitely go sub to Justin. He's got a bunch of stuff coming up. We are gonna have a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff going up on my channel for release, launch tips, tricks. I don't know how much you're gonna be doing of
Yes.
that kind of stuff versus lore,
Yes.
Justin. But if you ever want to
Yeah.
feature, or maybe I'm
Yeah.
thinking about doing some faction stuff that I could use some
Yeah.
lore people
Hey, let
for.
me know.
So maybe that'll be a collab that we do later. Um,
Yeah, it'd be a lot
but
of
yeah,
fun.
any last words for chat before I put you down today?
Well, I'm gonna die now. No. Again, I appreciate everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the new visuals. We're hopefully, might make more. And I was thinking about the chat thing. I'm like, okay, maybe we got to make some adjustments here. But I hope you guys are enjoying it for the most part. I hope you're enjoying the podcast episode, whether you're viewing us live on Twitch. Feel free to check us out. Maybe we should tweet it, or we'll figure out how to get that out to you
Hmm.
guys when we start. It's just we're so inconsistent right now. It's the beginnings. Okay, we're figuring out scheduling, and if we start getting on a more consistent base, it's going to be really cool because then you guys can tune in live before the episode goes up on YouTube. Feel free, please subscribe to freaking Sato. I love this guy. Give him a like as well. Subscribe to me. I'm a
Yes,
wee little
please.
channel. I do a lot of this, for the love of the game. Again, absolutely love Marathon, and I just love to see you guys' reactions. I mean, the live chat today was nothing but love, and I appreciate all the individuals that were chatting. You guys are spectacular. Thank you for kind of welcoming me in as well on Sato. We're streaming on Sato's Twitch, so
Yeah.
in terms of like gameplay, it would be a lot of fun. I'm hoping me and Sad will figure out days for
Yes.
when we're gonna play together. It's gonna be really cool. Maybe we stream it. Maybe just do a VOD of it or something.
Oh, I'll be live.
I might, I might try to stream some stuff too over on JNote on Twitch. I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with that for YouTube eventually. Got some stuff that I'm pondering in the brain. Might be like gameplay channel or whatnot. But in the meantime, again, thank you so much. Let me not ramble for tuning into another episode of Not Great. This
The
has been Not
marathon
Great.
podcast for now. I
Yeah.
think we'll expand, because I think once the
Yeah.
game is out and we
Yeah.
can do our say our pieces on it and whatever we want, then we can kind of move on to any other current topics and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
Yeah.
we have been
Game news,
we've been holding
random
on for
stuff.
so long for this game to come out. We've been excited for
Yes.
years. It's
Oh,
it's
it's gonna be
a new
so
page,
exciting.
and man, we've been
A
missing it
new
since our last
chapter.
test. So
Oh man,
Bungie,
I
hurry up!
cannot wait. I have so much things planned. Like my goodness gracious, of just being able playing the game and just vegging out and just honing in on this game. Again, it's just been great. It's been great.
Well, thank you for joining me today, Justin. It's been a great time. I love doing this with you. It's fun to just geek out about how much the game is fun for
Yes.
us, and talking about it is therapeutic. So thank you all for joining us
Yeah.
today. I'm going to go ahead and close this out on the live stream, and then everybody on Twitch, or sorry, on YouTube, you will see this in a couple of days go up. Thank you for joining. If you watch all the way to the end, leave a comment and tell Justin you love him down in the comments, and or argue with us. Definitely go argue.
Yes.
Dislike. It goes great for the algorithm. Just press a button. I don't care which one. But I will see you all again very, very soon.
Yes, yes.